December 2022. ChatGPT is unleashed on the world.
Whoa, wait a minute. This is gonna make me rich. Wrong. I have been sent from the future to make you money. So allow me to show you the real way to make money with ChatGPT. GPT. We could see QR code generator gets over 2 million searches a month. PDF to Word, almost 10 million searches a month. Convert PDF to Word, 3 million searches a month. Business name generator, PayPal buttons, Stripe buttons, and on we go. Make me a PHP code that generates a QR code. And the AI bot is gonna go to work creating the script for me at zero cost. All right, everyone, hello and welcome. Today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how I have actually gone through and built a vibe coding business and used that to make money. Actually, we have hit the 7-figure mark. Obviously, I want you to know that the results are not typical, implied, or guaranteed. The average person trying to make money online makes nothing. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about real-world strategies, things that we can look at and verify by data rather than pie-in-the-sky stuff where people think they're going to go put a prompt in and sail off into the sunset. This is something we need to look at very strategically because I think going through and understanding the basics of how vibe coding works, what people want, what we're going to build that'll actually move the needle, and how to get customers and everything like that is everything. Now, what I decided to do today is go through and actually fire up. As you can see, I have Claude fired up, I have ChatGPT, Gemini, all kinds of different programs fired up. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through those and I'm going to show you what I've done, what kind of things I've vibe coded, and how it's contributed to making that money online. This is super important because this is the update and walkthrough showing you exactly how I use AI, data, old school market research. I think coming from the era I came from in marketing gave me an upper hand because I understand things different. We're going to talk about market research, proven traffic, and real problems to come up with vibe-coded projects that turn into websites, tools, dashboards, apps, members area, and various different money pages and traffic pages. We're not going out there and building a random app because AI can code. You see videos all over the place where people say, I cloned an app that made $1 million. They're cloning an app that did make $1 million, but they're not actually able to get the same results. While I can go through and have AI make the next Wikipedia, I'm not going to be as big as them because they already exist. So that would be a waste of time, a waste of resources, and of course, get me in a lot of hot water with copyrights and things like that. So while I can go out there and say, hey, yes, I can clone a game or something like, oh, hey, I'm making a game like Angry Birds, which made 20 million. Okay, am I actually getting that, or do I need to look at data and actually understand it? So if you're in it for the long haul and you want to learn exactly how this stuff works, smash that like button, type vibe code in the chat box or the comments, and let me know that you're following along because I'm going to show you the real world data of how I start with something, what I've done, how I build it, what it looks like, and the whole 9 yards. Now, the real point of this video is that most people out there are looking at vibe coding backwards. They're starting with a tool. They say, hey, I want to make an app. I see this other guy who made an app. I want to make an app. I want it to work well, and that's the end of it, right? What we're doing is we're going through and doing something completely different, and we are reverse engineering the process to ask what people want. A lot of people want to make a software as a service or code something. A lot of people want to make money. What we need to do is we need to understand exactly what it is that does that and really dissect, like, what are we actually doing? We're not just making something cool, like that's fun and all, but a lot of people making something cool. Like if you look at the numbers of startups, most of them fail. 98% or 95% or something like that fail because they don't have the right funding, they don't have the right idea. Now, unless you're making some unicorn that's going to get funded by venture capital, which usually not, like I've been doing this 27 years, I still have yet to go the venture capital route, but going through and understanding how do we bootstrap something from nothing and actually get it working? How do we go out there and build something from the ground up, promote it, market it, and make it work in a good way? This is the trap. The money is not in the code. The money's not in your website. The money's not in the stuff that you build. The money is in the market, the data, the problem, the angle, the traffic, and the offer. This is where the money lies. Anyone can make a t-shirt with some religious slogan on it, but it takes a church to sell a bunch of those shirts, right? Understanding that that's the mechanism. Or you could say, okay, yeah, anyone can make a book, but it takes a YouTube channel or a blog or a, showing on the Oprah show to actually get that to bestseller status. What we're doing is we're reverse engineering the stuff that actually matters and forgetting about the stuff that doesn't. Because if you know what matters and you know what's out there, then you can find something simple, start a minimum viable product, and make that work. This is the same thing that I do over and over and over again. When we understand that the code is now the easy part, everything starts to change. Because now everyone can code. Everyone can make an app. Everyone can make an idea come to life with vibe coding. Okay? But the hard part is knowing what to build, who it's for, why they care, and how it connects to actually getting paid. Vibe coding is not about making random apps. It's about turning proven demand into useful digital assets. So what we're going to do, and this is what I do, we're going to take a look at a lot of things that I've done with vibe coding. We're going to see here in Manus, I've done a lot of vibe coding. This is actually a new project that I'm doing as a build-in public project. I've been doing build in public for a long time. I just never called it that. We've been showing you stuff all the time since I think 2011 or 2012 was one of the live build in public sites. I still have the webinar replay on my website where we went through, built something live on a webinar, got ads on a webinar, and actually watched as sales and traction came in on that webinar. So this is something I've been doing for quite some time. My first website was back in 1998, I believe it was. Might have been 99. It was like right around that time. And understanding how all this stuff fits is absolutely everything. This is one of the build-in public projects we're going to talk about, where I actually vibe coded this. And yes, a website is a version of vibe coding. You are writing code with the AI tool. Okay, so understanding that's key. This is one where I went through for my Talk Sober website, and we're doing a challenge with reading books and stuff like that, which is really cool. That's one that I vibe coded. You guys will see how that works in the up and coming months. But what we're doing here is we're going to look at all the different things that I've built in Manus, different things that I have built over here. Like this was one we were doing for advertorial type stuff. This is one, if you're looking at Claude, there's a lot of stuff we've done in Claude. There's a lot of stuff we've done in ChatGPT. And what I did before this training to show you, hey, this is how I'm vibe coding my way into a 7-figure business. This is what I've done to make good money with vibe coding. Previously, I've been doing this since 2022, as the intro said, as far as vibe coding. I've been doing this business since way before that. But since then, I have made those numbers with vibe coding, and I'm going to show you what I did. Some of it was actually quite difficult. Some of it took a mailing list. Some of it took an audience. Some of it I was able to promote on its own. We're going to show you kind of all of that stuff, because I think once we take the mystery out, you can understand, oh, I look at data, I find something I want to make that people actually want, I can build it and set it up. Now, sometimes if you don't know code, I'm going to highly recommend that you get a programmer to overlook your stuff and kind of help you out. We have one of our biggest vibe coding projects, Clipter, which I'm going to show you here. This is one where I was able to vibe code my way to a demo and able to get some people to try it out. I was able to sell a few copies, which was good, because if you're new, selling those copies would afford to have my outsourcer go through and do the work. But this is one I'm going to show you why and how the idea came about and what's going on and when I needed to say, yes, I do need a programmer for this. Now, luckily, programmers, if you're doing outsourcing, it's not super expensive. It's not like it used to be where you'd have to have a bunch of different people doing things. You can now get by with a team where you have one person and one programmer, all right? Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to start with data, not ideas. A lot of people start with ideas, right? Ideas are a dime a dozen. You might have a good idea. It might be a great idea. It might actually work and make money. Most ideas never make it off the chopping block, and most ideas that do make it off the chopping block actually don't work. That's why we're going to start with data. The way that I come up with these projects isn't by sitting around trying to be creative. I start with data. I'm going to go through, I'm going to look at keyword data. I'm going to look at different things that are actually working. I'm going to look at where the gaps are. Like, do I want to make the next, the next app that's like a different app? Do I want to make the next Sam Cart or Stan Store? Or is there already one there? Do I want to compete with that? What do I want to do? Understanding that's key. I'll never forget someone in my family once, they were going with friends looking at buying a business that had gone under. And I'm like, why would you buy a business that went under? If they couldn't make it work as business people, how are you going to make it work as a non-business person? And the logic to them, they got offended at the logic, but the logic is solid. If you don't know what you're doing, how are you going to take over something that already failed, right? We need to understand exactly what's going on and understand where things work. This is where success leaves clues. We need to look at the data. We're going to look at what people are already searching for, what sites are already getting traffic, what tools already exist, what pages are already ranking, what offers are already paying, and what problems are already being complained about. With AI, we have an unprecedented opportunity to go through and find this data at scale. This is something where if you are not using Manus AI, you need to be using Manus AI. You can get gigantic, huge results very, very quickly, and you can turn those results into vibe-coded projects. I do it all the time. We do this for our students and people who are our clients, where we go through and we vibe code things that will help them. What we're going to use to find those data sources to start is Ahrefs, SimilarWeb, SpyFu for keywords and cost per click, Reddit for raw problems, complaints, frustrations, repeated questions in real language, Flippa, and sold site examples where we could go through. And this list, all of these notes were taken from going through all the AIs, asking it how I do vibe coding, what I've done, and breaking it down and really diving in and looking at it. So this is kind of like the roadmap to making it work. Very, very important that you understand this. Also, we're going to look at affiliate networks and offer directories where we can see, oh, hey, this is where the money changes hands. I can actually build this and grow this. Here's where the money is. A lot of people look at starting a business and they don't really think about where the money is. Like, I'm going to make the next Angry Birds, or I'm going to make this next project. Okay, great, but how are they getting paid? And what's that going to look like in real time? Like people who say, I want to go out there and be the next Mr. Beast. Okay, that's all fine and good, but while you're getting 2,000 views and making the same amount as him per view, at 2,000 views, that's not scalable. You're going to lose out very quickly. There needs to be some kind of give. There needs to be some kind of change so that you can sustain it. What we're doing is a lot of people in business, they look at venture capital companies and they look at, oh, hey, this is how ChatGPT built. Well, newsflash, ChatGPT is not profitable yet. So while they've got the trillion-dollar company status, they have yet to turn a profit, which means unless you have hundreds of billions of dollars, you can't really do that unless you can bootstrap it and find something simple that people actually want. Understanding this is key. That's why we have DeepSeek or even Manus that came out of the gate, right? ChatGPT was the huge winner. Manus skates by, makes something for far less than ChatGPT did. I think they sold, or were gonna sell. I think the sale got blocked or something like that. But when you look at that, they came under the radar and it was like pennies on the dollar compared to what ChatGPT had invested. And in my opinion, it's a far superior product. I think I'm paying like $300 a month for ChatGPT just because I have a bunch of employees on it. And I can probably, drop that down to the $20 level for myself instead of paying for the $200. Whereas Manus, I am now paying over $1,000 a month for it. Why would this cheaper one actually get a better result and actually make good money? Understanding that is everything, because if you can take those two examples, then you're going to start to see how business works. Now, we're going to also look at my own projects. I always look at previous things that did well. What do people actually respond to? and what actually works. Then I go through and I ask myself this simple question. What can I build with AI that makes this easier, faster, cleaner, or more useful? Maybe you're checking emails every day. Is there something you could do with AI that would make it easier? I can vibe code that. Maybe you're converting stuff. Like this morning, I was making videos for the intro, and I needed to convert a bunch of web ep files, I think that's what they're called, into PNGs for the video. Because the web eps wouldn't work with my video editor. I went to a converter page and I was able to get those very quickly. That's something you can vibe code very quickly. Now, looking at that, again, you're going to compete with all the others that are out there. We're going to try to find something that makes ours different. So this is the formula that I use to create vibe coding projects that actually work. Number one, we're going to find what's already working. Go out there and look at ranking pages, tools, calculators, templates, dashboards, directories, affiliate pages, lead magnets, simple websites that are already out there getting traffic or making money. Now, I can go to Manus AI and I can have it find all these for me. I did a video, I think it was last Monday's video, that was all about how do we find this data? How can you go out there and find like income reports or people who actually got funded or companies that are doing well? The cool thing about business is everyone likes to brag about what they're doing. And if you know how to pay attention, you can find out exactly what is making the most money. It's not that hard to do. And you can do that with Manus, get a big data, and then find the thing that you want to do. Rather than going out there and saying, I have this great idea for this app. It might be great, but first find the data. Go to Manus and spend a couple hours and say, hey, what are some similar apps? What are some similar things in this market? What are they lacking? What are they doing? How hard would it be to get traffic? And various different things like that. And have a system. What you're going to see in the up and coming videos about vibe coding for my Talk Sober website is you're going to see how we go through and use the book method, right? The book method is basically you just start talking about a bunch of books in your niche. And by proxy, your stuff will get promoted. This is what Jeff Bezos did. Like if you look at the story of how Amazon got popular, you look at it and you're like, okay, well, what was the strategy? Like, was there not a store? Like Walmart existed at the time Amazon did. Why did he think he could go in there and do good? And that's kind of what they thought. They were like, hey kid, what are you gonna do, right? And what happened is he looked at the data. He understood all of these books, get a bunch of searches. Nobody's tackling that. I can do that, and if I can get a customer, then I can treat that customer really well, and they'll keep coming back and keep coming back. And whatever it is that you do to get that, you need to understand that process, because if I can use a very simple vibe-coded project and maybe even break even, maybe lose a little bit on the front end, but then I know what the back end is, then I'm gonna do much better. And I'm going to show you some of the examples that I've done and vibe coded and show you exactly what's working. Then we're going to go through, we're going to find the missing piece. Is the current version not good looking? Is it outdated, too complicated, missing a calculator? What is it that's going on? What is it actually missing? What can we actually do? What do people struggle with? What keeps them up at night? For me, right now, I'm vibe coding a dashboard for my business. And I actually found out a lot of people do want these. So take notes if you want something that's very basic that you can get into. We're building these dashboards that take the process of business and like dissect it. Like, okay, every Monday I need to take my video and I need to make a blog post. And then I need to make some socials to spin it out. Okay, good. And then I need to make an email to send it out to the email. So what we're doing is we're programming these into dashboards that work extremely well. If we can vibe code these for realtors or whoever, now we have something we can work based on something that we know people struggle with, right? Once you put your listing on Zillow, then what? Interesting stuff. That's where you go through and you find that missing piece of like, how can I make this better? How can I make it work better? How can I make it to where it's not a struggle, reduce the friction, make it cheaper, better, faster, whatever it is. Then we're gonna use AI to build that asset where we're like, okay, can I build the PHP tool, the HTML? Start with something bulk and basic. Why do I start with something like this? Well, when I load this and I start working it, what's gonna happen is Google's gonna start to pick up, oh, hey, Talk Sober is now talking about these books. I can see what's gonna rank, and by what ranks, then I'll know what books to get. And then I know what to make this content about. It's all about going out there and understanding the wheel of promotion. If you don't understand the wheel of promotion, like it doesn't matter how good of a vibe coder you are, you have to understand this. So if we go through and we do, let's get our whiteboard here and I'll show you what this wheel of promotion looks like. This is very, very important, and I recommend that you start doing this even before you get your vibe coded project out. Why? Because there's nothing better than promoting a project to an audience you already know wants it. Like if I know they want it, then it's like, okay, I can get a sale from day one. And that's what we want to do. Obviously, looking at it takes work to get sales, but understanding what's out there and understanding how to do it is everything. So when we talk about the wheel, what we're going to talk about here, and I'll try to spell wheel correctly. I am terrible at grammar. But at any rate, when we go into looking at the wheel, we're going to go through and we're going to have this wheel that has all of these spokes, right? And these spokes here are the different things we're going to use to get people who have the problem that our vibe coded project solves. So if they're bored, maybe there's a game. Okay, so if there's a game and you say, okay, well, I am set on making this new game. It's called Jumpy Dude or whatever, right? And you have this new game and you're trying to sell this game or give it away because you're doing ads or whatever. The best way to do that would be to talk about other games in the niche, right? You could do little reviews on Jumpy Bird and Angry Bird and Happy Bird and whatever, and pretty soon you will get traffic that will want the thing you have. If you're doing something that's like an email list or something like that, you would talk about things that are interesting to people who want to build an email list. Going through and understanding this, it's not really rocket science, it's just something that people overlook because it's extremely boring, right? It's just, you have to go out there and systematically do it. Much like right now, I have a book that I'm finishing. Luckily, Janae's helping me comb through it and figure out, hey, you spelled this wrong 1,000 times or whatever, or this doesn't make sense. She's going to help us with that. It's a book I've been working on for a while. And I think the reason I haven't let it out is because I'm afraid, like, what are people going to say about it? A little bit of fear there. But overall, looking at it and understanding, like, if I want that to be a bestseller, the best way to do it would be review all of these books. Right? And I've actually done this on my channel where I talk about different books and I give an overview as someone who's in sobriety. Hey, what do I think about this book? And naturally, it promotes my stuff. Now, the key here is to do honest things. Like, let's say you have a vibe-coded app that is a recipe kitchen timer app. Okay, what would be the best way to promote that? Well, you need to start getting people who are interested in cooking. So make some TikTok reviews or YouTube videos about different pans and pots and spatulas and things like that. Those people are going to want what you have. A lot of people miss this step because vibe coding is fun. Like I can vibe code all day, every day. I love it. I think it's the most fun thing ever to just watch what I can create and it comes to life, which is great. But we need to understand that if you're in this to build a business, you can't be like the venture capital guys where they just want to get that angel investment and stuff like that. You need to be able to bootstrap this on your own in a very, very straightforward way. Luckily, we're talking marketing here along with the vibe coding. Then we're going to go through and use AI to build the asset and then attach it to traffic and monetization. Now, notice how step 1 and step 4, like if you didn't do step 1, step 4 ain't going to make sense. And if you didn't do step 1, you just built a cool project that you don't know if anyone wants. So we need that data right at the get-go. It's literally everything. When I go through with vibe coding, and again, this is how I've gone through. I've done 7 figures with vibe coding, maybe a little bit more than that. But understanding, like, most people make nothing. Why? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Business takes work, it takes effort, and even if you do everything right, there's no magic thing that says it's going to work. So what we need to understand is, what does the data say? How do we get in front of the data? And how do I build something small, inexpensive, easy, prove the concept, get $1, $2, whatever it is, get someone to say, I want that. Get someone to download it free, other than like family members that they'll check out anything you have. We want an actual person online to be able to say, I want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use Ahrefs and SimilarWeb. And we're not just using these tools to find keywords. We're using them to reverse engineer and prove demand. There are places out there that literally tell you the best things that you can make and give you tons of ideas that are pretty basic and simple. Like they're not difficult, like a background remover, a email writer, something that has something specific with it, right? If I'm making a calculator, how do I make it have this extra variable that helps this group of people? Or something very specific. When we start specific, it's a lot easier to get people interested in what we have than starting with, say, oh, here's this thing that helps you write emails. Okay, maybe I want one that helps write emails for this group of people or that group of people, or band promoters or something like that. Starting to break things down is everything. Ahrefs will show you pages that already rank. So this is where you could go through and you could say, hey, let's throw AppSumo or some other site into this, or you want to find digital products, you can go through and put StanStore in your keyword report. It'll show you all the stuff that ranks for that. Or you could go through and look at the App Store, Google App Store. You could look at Apple App Store, and you can find out what ranks and what gets volume. The volume is everything. Like if I know people want this, then boom, there you go, it's going to work. And obviously we can go through and reverse engineer and see why it's going to work and see the best chance possible of making it work. So we're going to look at pages that already rank, keywords that bring in traffic, old pages that can be improved, low competition terms, content gaps, tools, and calculator opportunities. This is one of the fastest ways to get traffic is by having a really good tool. Why? Because if I have a really neat tool that does one thing, I can go promote it on Facebook. I can buy ads to it. We're running ads to a bunch of tools we have. Going through and looking at, I can make videos on this. I can make content around this, which will be really cool. And one of the tips you can do is if there's a way to show how your tool works with other stuff, jackpot, check, and mate. This is literally what Bill Gates did when he built DOS, right? He had DOS. He was able to buy the rights for DOS. And he was like, hey, IBM, this works with these computers you're already shipping out. It was a match made in heaven. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go through and do this in a different way. So let's say I created a tool. So one of the things that I vibe coded, I don't know if I can find it, but I'll try. It was a niche. I think I can find it here, hopefully. Yeah, cool, I got it. So this is one I vibe coded a while ago, back when I was first kind of getting into big vibe coding stuff. And what we did here is we vibe coded a content strategy generator. And what I did is I made it work with different keywords tools. So like you drop your Ahrefs keyword list in here, boom, it'll do all the stuff on it. It also has AI powered stuff and all kinds of things that helps you. When we look at something like this, I could go out there and I can make videos of here's what to do with your Ahrefs keyword list. Here's how to turn a keyword list into content. Here's how to turn SEMrush keywords into content. What I do is I piggyback on helping people with this tool. Now you can get more use out of it, and my tool is going to help you, and that will automatically boost it up. Obviously, make sure you have the rights and you're not doing anything funny or against terms and conditions or terms and services, but going through and saying, hey, maybe you make this tool with the Electron app. Oh, here's how to compile it with my tool. Something that kind of adds on in a good way, like maybe go through and say, well, here's all these AI tools. You can use my tool to throw all the stuff you're making with AI in good ideas from it, or whatever it is, or turn it into a website, or turn it into this, that, or the other. Starting to understand that's everything, because I can build things and use other stuff to make them work even better, which is cool. We can also look at SimilarWeb, where we look at traffic patterns, sites that might be bigger than Ahrefs shows, because Ahrefs is all Google search. We can look at where visitors come from. Hey, this guy's got 60% of his traffic from Facebook. That's good to know. As a marketer, I need to know these things. This is how I'm going to build and grow. We're going to look at which patterns get attention, proof that a niche has real movement, opportunities and hidden keywords hidden opportunities from keyword tools. Now, it's important to note that sometimes one tool says a site has no traffic. Like a guy did a video on my stuff and he's like, oh, Marcus's stuff doesn't work. Look at this traffic. Yeah, he's looking at the wrong tool. I've been doing this a long time, right? And doesn't mean that one is useless, and he's basically using it to get my traffic over to his stuff, whatever. have a little bit of traffic, enjoy your day. But what happens is it means you look at the pattern and use your brain. The goal is not perfect data, it's enough clues to make a smart decision. And by the way, people have been using my name and my brand to get traffic for years. Whatever, they're gonna do what they're gonna do. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at this and look for the patterns. Can I make a better version of this page? Can I turn this article into a tool? Think about that. This is something that is absolutely amazing. If you use Facebook and you're in groups that are sharing prompts and AI tips and things like that, that's literally waiting to be turned into tools. You go find some post that has a bazillion likes and shares, and they're like, here's this way to make AI do X, Y, and Z. Just throw that image or that post into your AI tool. Claude would be preferred, or even Manus for this, because it could do the deep research. You go through and you throw it in there and you say, how could I turn this into a tool? What would it look like? Now, it's important to use Manus and Claude to get the essence of what that is. We don't want to copy. We don't want to, use exact prompts. We want to go through and we want to figure out what is it that made that thing work, because it's based on traffic. People already like it. People are already sharing it. All I would need to do is be like, hey, I made this tool, here's what it does. People are interested in it. This is where marketing comes down to it, where we're understanding what people want. This is where I went through and I built Clipter, which has a very, very good rate of people getting it. The people who have ordered custom Clipters has been crazy. The people who order branded Clipters has been crazy. Very, very profitable. And even the people who just get monthly Clipters where they can use their own is pretty good too. But what we're doing is we're building this out where I was like, okay, what do a lot of people do? A lot of people make content. They build content. And for me, I know I get ideas. Like I'll go and look at Facebook, like I just said, where I get an image and I'll just forget about it. Like if you look at my phone, there's like 100 gigabytes or whatever of just saved screenshots and pictures and things that I got from ideas, video thumbnails and things that I find, articles, reports, all these kind of things, and it wasn't getting used. But I know that if I use it, I can turn it into a content factory, ergo Clipter. So this is one of the vibe-coded projects that has taken me the most effort. This is the one that I have my programmer on. We have several others. We've vibe-coded WordPress plugins ever since that video came out in 2022, which literally took off. You can see it. I think we have it on my site. If you go to VibeCodeBox, I think we have, vibecodebox.com. We have that original video there. You can go watch it. You can see the timestamp is there. I've been doing this stuff for a while. Now, when I got into that, I first saw the opportunity to do WordPress plugins, because I had been making money with WordPress plugins since, I think, 2011, I believe it was, maybe even 2009. I'd have to ask Andy. He's our programmer. He's been with me since then. I've literally watched him. His life has changed, which is cool. He's got his family now and everything like that, which is great. Great programmer. Been working with him a long time. We started out building WordPress plugins, where I was like, okay, if I can build a little WordPress plugin that does something. I remember back in the day, you would see like, oh, here's this SEO plugin. They're making millions of dollars a year. Okay, what are they doing? How does that work? How do I make something like that? With vibe coding, now that's something that's not unreachable. Where we used to like take a month or two to make a good WordPress plugin, now I can spit them out really quickly, throw them over to my programmer and say, hey, fix this up. Now we're also getting into stuff like this, where Clipter is a much more robust vibe code, where I go through and what it does. I'll give you a little rundown of what it does. So this is the new feature we just made, which is the planner. But the idea here is like you take an idea, right? So let's say we have this one here where it's like some creator tools or whatever, okay? What happens is you just literally copy and paste it in here. It takes the image, it takes what it looks like there, and then we just go through and the AI will extract whatever it is we want. So like, what is this type of image? Okay, good. What kind of social media hooks could I use with this image? And it'll go through and it'll do all of this stuff for you and process it down here. And then you could start to actually use those ideas you had. Now, what I did is I went a step further and I was like, okay, well, what if we actually vibe coded it to where like I have a planner, because it's all about vision, right? I went through and I was like, okay, if I get something I like, let's say I find something on social media and I'm like, oh, this guy has this cool prompt idea. Good. can I switch that? Like a couple months ago, I came out with an idea, and it happened to be one of our top performing videos. And I saw the idea, and I was like, okay, what is the essence of this idea? Well, it was a search pattern. That's really what it was. Now, most people won't know to see, oh, the essence of this thing that's getting all this hype is at the core a search pattern. So if I can take and dissect that to search pattern and then apply that to what I'm doing, now I can build something, right? And so I want to do that. And then I was like, okay, I'd like to also have the AI dissect it, get the hooks, get the social media stuff, all of this, which is all stuff that AI does pretty basic, right? This isn't crazy stuff. We're just using Gemini to process it. Then what I wanted to do is I wanted to say, you know, it'd be good instead of just like right now, I have a Teams where I Teams myself the image of the thumbnail before I make the video. I'm like, okay, there you go. I do it at home, and then I come here, check my Teams, there it is. But oftentimes I would take an idea and it wouldn't pan out that day. And so what I wanted to do is make it go into a calendar. And so that's where we went through, and I'm like, okay, I can save all my stuff on here that the AI does, and then I can keep it, and then I can go through and drag this into the planner. So if I open our planner over, oh, there it is right there. So if I open our planner, I could say, hey, you know what? I want to do this video Wednesday at 8 o'clock, or let's say I want to do this video Friday. Boom, save. It's going to go in there, and I will see on Friday, there's my video. I know what to do. This is something where you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's helpful. That's usable. Understanding that's everything, because if I can go through and say, hey, here's the pattern, can I make it better? Can I turn an article into a tool? Maybe I have like 50 different articles on SEO. Okay, could I turn that into a tool or a dashboard? We did this recently for one of our clients who is in the real estate market. And we're like, okay, how can we make an AI tool where they can go and find the price on Zillow and the price over here and the price over here, put it in, and boom, it'll spit out, here's your perfect offer, here's why. That's something that can work where, you know, Zillow does okay, but it's kind of like a one size fits all. We wanted something specific. That's where you go through and look at that data. Can I turn this boring data into a useful report? This is something that's actually really, really cool. We started doing this in Join Marcus, which is actually completely vibe coded, which is cool. We went through and we took the core of a membership software, vibe coded it into a strategy that literally runs a big part of our business. That's cool, right? And starting with that starting point helped us get further. But if I was to go through and log in and show you what some of these look like, again, starting with something basic, could I start with maybe data? Maybe I can go through and start with like, oh, here's a list of niches or sites that did good. This is what we did here. So this is what the Join Marcus looks like. If you're not a AI Profit Scoop Elite member, this is what it looks like. If you want to check that out, it's over at joinmarcus.com. What it looks like here is you go into your members area, and then you're just going to scroll down into your sections here. So you have a vault. This was created by Manus, and it has value. So like, how many of you guys would like a list of, hey, here's 1,000 proven ideas that people have actually used to make blogs about, right? These are niches that people actually use. This is data that I've actually paid for, which, you know, is how I knew it would work. And it did wonders for getting people into my stuff here. So going through here, we can click on the vault, and the vault will take you to this category where it's got all the different niche sites directory. And these are all based on data and reports and all kinds of things to find where they work. And we have over 5,100 sites. I have like 40,000 I'm adding to it as well. But it's all categorized like this, which is great. What it does is it makes data useful. This is step one. I'm going to vibe code this. This was all vibe coded. I didn't do any code or anything. I just gave it my logo and told it what I wanted it to look like. It did the rest. It categorized them and everything. Now, can I take and turn that into a tool that validates your niche idea based on niches that we know worked? Yeah, that would be something I can go a step further. But starting with the data gives me something to sell. It gives me something where I'm like, hey, I have this list of 5,100 different niches that we know work. You can look at the data and see it. Would you like that? In the past, I paid like close to $300 a month for data like this. Obviously, make sure you have the rights to use data, but going through a lot of it is stuff that's out there. So we need to understand, like, can I make something of value based on data, then can I turn it into a tool? That's exactly what we're doing. If you look at these other ones, this is one where I went through and based it on affiliate offers, right? So it went through, found 250 different affiliate offers that I like. And again, having that built-in traffic, like that, it works. It's something that literally you're building the bricks based on a foundation that you know is backed by data rather than just, oh, gee, I pray that this will work. No, we want to have that data. We want to understand what's going on. Next up, we can see over here, and these are images that AI created for me. It's about specific stuff. And we're going to turn this into a bunch of little videos and things like that. Another one we had was the Google search files that shows you different prompts that can make your AI work in a different way. Again, building these into tools and stuff like that is literally everything. And when we went through here with these, it actually lets you run it with AI, which is fantastic, right? Going through and saying, okay, how can I look at data? How can I build it into a tool? How can I sell that data? That way, hey, now I have this report that I can sell or give away. When I come out with the software, people are they're gonna want it because we knew they wanted the report. This is where you go through and you can use Manus to create a minimum viable product that doesn't even need that much vibe coding. Like literally, you can make a PDF report or a spreadsheet or something like that, get people into it, and then start adding to it later. Far too many people are trying to make this giant vibe coded process, which isn't always the best thing. Now, with Clipter, I have been profitable with Clipter because of the fact that we sell custom Clipters and stuff like that. It's not super profitable. It's not like one of the biggest vibe coded things I've done. It will be. This is going to be the biggest one I did. I already know. It's just a matter of ironing it out. But going through and looking at that, the reason I bring it up is because if I set out to make the perfect Clipter before I got an audience, before I understood everything, I'd just be sitting there spinning my wheels with no money to show for it. I'd actually be losing money because you have to pay for some of this stuff, you know? Understanding this is about business. I know when we get to the online world, people think it's some mysterious thing. It's just business. It's the same as anything else. And I think that's what so many people leave out for whatever reason is the actual business element of like, how does this work? How do we build it? How do I get my first client? Well, you start with it. Like if you wanted to get clients in real estate and you're like, okay, I want realtors to come to this, make a report for local realtors, get a press release, send it to the report, get people to download that report so you can get something going. Right now we're working on a project. I'll show you one of the vibe coded things for it. It's over at gotniches.com. And what we're doing is we're programming this based on high paying search keywords. So like one of the things I've made a lot of money with over the years was knowing what advertisers will pay for. Knowing, okay, advertisers that have ads on, you know, a card game blog pay less than advertisers on a mortgage blog. Knowing that was key. So what I did is I went through and found a bunch of keywords and I vibe coded this so that they could see, okay, what does it look like? And when we start to understand, oh, wait a minute, this actually has value, and we can go through and vibe code a tool that would maybe help them write content in different markets or whatever it is. Starting to look at that is starting to understand I need to make things for the audience I want to get it in front of. And the best way to do that is make something small and make it really good. So again, can I make a niche version of this for a very specific audience? Right? Like if I have one for realtors, can I make it for realtors in Miami? Okay, that would do better. Like it's easier to get a bunch of realtors in Miami to buy something if it's specific for them versus other ones. And the fact that there's tens of thousands of realtors probably in Miami, you know, that would give us a good shot. This is where the vibe coding ideas come from. If you're just out there making ideas, make sure you back them with data or try to get people first. Like go through, have AI set up a landing page. Like here's what you would do. You would go into ChatGPT or whatever, and you'd say, based on my Clipter software, make a hard-hitting landing page that gives away a report that helps them do everything Clipter does, but manually with regular AI, right? So what would this do? Hey, here's this great report that shows you how to get traffic and views and everything from ideas and AI and things that you find online. Yeah, I could give away some of those reports. So what it would do is it would make this HTML, it'll make a page that shows, here's all the things it does. So wherever you're at, this is probably the biggest takeaway of this training. Wherever you're at, stop with your AI, say, make me a sales page or a landing page for people to put their email in to get what this does, but manually. Like, oh, hey, you can go submit this here, something like that, and it'll actually show you, you can get traffic, and when people opt in, you'll know they're interested. You gotta prove the concept in the market first, because otherwise you're just gonna be spinning your wheels. Now, how do I use projects that are already winning? What we're gonna do is we're gonna look at our own stuff and see where our customers are coming from. If I already have a site, a page, a niche, a video, a class, an email, or a tool that gets attention, I can build around that. This is where we go through. Like a lot of times I will buy auction domains or domains that already have rankings or an old business. Like actually Clipter was a domain I bought at auction. I was like, okay, cool, that's a good domain. I thought it was good. I didn't use it for like 3 years. And then when I made this project, I was like, hey, that's kind of perfect for this. And I had something ready to go. Examples of what I look for is I look for a page or a domain that's already getting traffic, a video that's already getting comments, a Facebook ad that's getting clicks or interaction, a tool that people ask about, a topic that keeps coming up in emails, high niche with cost per click, sales page that converts, simple dashboard that saves time. Something very, very simple. Because if something is already working, vibe coding lets you build more around it. I can go through and say, hey, there's this site for mortgage calculators, right? If I went through and looked at a mortgage calculator site, let's see if I can find one. Here we go, like mortgage calculator. And I go through and look at this in my keyword tool, I can see, oh, hey, these are things people actually want. So if I go like this, and we look at mortgage calculator here, we can see they got a whole bunch of traffic. I could see what that traffic is for. You got mortgage calculator, stuff like that, mortgage calculate, all kinds of stuff here, which is cool. And then I could go through and say, well, what could I vibe code that would be better? One of the ones that I did is I saw a bunch of closing cost calculators. And I was like, okay, well, they don't really do what I want them to do. So how can I make that better? How can I make it have, an estimate of what I'm going to get? Because as a house owner, I want to know, like at the end of the day, what am I going to get from this stuff, right? What am I going to get at the end of the transaction? And it was actually built when I was selling my house years ago, before I went into rehab, which, that was a helpful thing back then. Rough time, but it was a helpful tool I made. So we want to say if something's already working, how can I make a calculator, checklist, a tracker, a report generator, a lead magnet? When people are looking for checklists and tools and things like that, I can go through and say, here's a tool that will help you save money on your move, right? People look up moving checklists, so I know that has demand. If I go through and I say, like a WordPress plugin, if I go through and I look up, what do people want to do on WordPress? Okay, that's pretty cool. I can really get in there and find out what they want. And I'll pull this up in the keyword tool in just a minute. Where's our keyword explorer? There we go. So we'll go through and we'll do on WordPress or convert WordPress or something like that. So here you have, and you can look these up. Like back this with data. Anytime I say something, go look it up, back it up by data. You got to do your own research when you're listening to gurus and people, because it's your business at the end of the day, right? I could just show you what I like and what I know, but at the end of the day, it's what you do that's going to matter. But going through here and looking like how to improve SEO on WordPress, we could see that that is the number one, right? SEO WordPress was it. That's why these SEO WordPress plugins sell so well. I knew one that was super simple back in the day. They were making a fortune on it. And I'll tell you something. What's worth more than the amount of money they made on that SEO plugin is the fact that they had a list of bloggers who wanted SEO. If you go through and you look at different tools, like if we do SpyFu, and you look at what the word SEO services, or something like that, SEO marketing, what you're going to see is the advertisers pay a lot for these keywords. And what that does is it tells us that there's a lot of action in that market. So here we can see SEO services is $15 a click on the ads. So like if I have that list, it's worth money. So I could even make a good tool, potentially give it away and sell either upgrades later or sell SEO services or something like that. Understanding this about marketing is everything. Understanding how we want to go through and be limber and really be able to move with the market. Like, oh, nobody's paying for this. Can I make money a different way, right? Like I was watching a commercial. They got a new commercial with Macaulay Culkin about some game. And my wife loves that game. And I'm like, okay, well, do you pay for it? She's like, no, I don't pay for that game. I'm like, do you have ads? No, I don't have ads. And I'm like, okay, well, there's got to be a way they're making money. Let's figure it out. Because if they can afford to run ads on TV and they're not charging for the game, we got to figure out exactly what's going on. Much like Facebook. I did a video the other day about Facebook and the ad mechanism that runs behind it. A lot of people don't know how that works. They don't understand, okay, yes, I know that they're making money on views, but they don't realize, oh, a view for a real estate thing is worth more than a view for this other thing. They don't think about it that way. And that's where we need to understand that as marketers. So we're going to look at building into like a lead magnet, a searchable database. We actually vibe coded my entire domain database. This was one I really had a good time with. I'm excited to show Alina. Alina's going to be back in the office this week. She was out of the country for a while. But going through, we had my domain database, which we had all over the place. And I put this on gotniches.com, where we actually went through and vibe coded the entire list of domains with all the ideas, with all the niches, with does it have traffic, does it have this, what's the value, what's the price, and we were able to vibe code that into this searchable database and actually make an entire domain site selling software based on a tool that I paid $70 for. This was something where it's like, okay, I can vibe code that and actually make it work. And yes, this domain site has made me quite a bit over the days. I've had this domain site since, I'm going to say 2022, maybe 2021, but I think it was 2022. And we've done like quite a bit over $500,000. I don't think we yet reached the million amount. Again, remember, I had to pay for the domains. I got to market them. There's risk, there's reward. You know, most people make nothing. But understanding, okay, what are the people doing that makes money? What actually makes this work? That's where we want to understand it. Understanding, yeah, this is about business. This is about building things that are actually going to work that I can actually get traffic for. Because no matter what you vibe code, it could be the best thing in the world. You could vibe code something better than ChatGPT. If you don't have an audience for it, it's not going to work. That's where we need to understand what happens. And then we go through and say, well, how did ChatGPT get its audience? Press. We can do press releases. We can go out there. We can figure out very specific things. WordPress plugins are one of my favorite things because they're very cut and dry. So if I was going to vibe code a WordPress plugin, I could say, okay, maybe I'll go through and do like, you could go and look at, if I was to do a keyword report for WordPress.org or something like that. I think it's WordPress.org/plugins or something. Probably find it here. Let me just find it for a second. And then what will happen is you can look at, okay, what are the plugins that are actually doing well and what could we do with them? How can I make something different or better or easier? Something like that's really where you go through. Yeah, WordPress is fantastic. And a lot of sites still use WordPress. Like I think close to half of the internet uses WordPress, which is great. And it's very flexible, which I like, right? And there's a built-in audience. Like I'm building this thing for this other thing. It's kind of like making an aftermarket car part. Like if I make a Tesla, sun visor, now I can potentially sell it to everyone who has a Tesla. Okay, now obviously make sure that you have the rights to do what you're doing. WordPress is one of those where it's open source, so yes, you can make plugins on it. They actually encourage it. Same thing. I mean, I had a student a couple years ago when I was talking about ChatGPT custom GPTs. And I'm like, you could literally make a tool over there. Like, you want to promote your vibe coded project, make a small version, put it on ChatGPT, custom GPTs, get it out there, put it on the custom ones for Claude. A lot of these companies, they don't mind that you do it. They actually encourage it because they want their tool used more, right? That's where you have like Claude skills and things like that. But with WordPress, if I go through, I could literally see exactly what people want just by doing the research of the data. And we'll say, okay, let's see, as a little small, let's go to keywords here. And I should be able to see it. And it's cool because it's like, there's something in SEO called parasite SEO, which is actually kind of a bad term. Like, a parasite is something that clings onto something else for life, right? So you're like, okay, here's this thing, and there's this parasite that needs this person to thrive. Now, parasite SEO was the idea of like using LinkedIn to put junky content on and rank it. Okay, that's bad parasite SEO. There's a flip side where it's like, wait a minute. So you're telling me if I made a WordPress plugin, I could put it on the WordPress plugin database and get traffic from WordPress because they're a powerful site, and my WordPress plugin is actually a plugin that's on there? Exactly. A lot of people overlook this, but this is something where if you want to give a boost to what you're doing, watch this. If I go through and I look up, let's say, Yoast SEO plugin, right? This is a big plugin. They make money. It's a huge business. You go through, you look up Yoast. I'm going to do this in Google real quick. Let's go Google. And I'll show you what this looks like in a real world way, because there's ways to really get out there and make your business work. And that's where the understanding comes in of like, okay, I need to know how all this works and where to go, because I want the best shot possible at making my vibe coded project work. I don't want to just vibe code something for 6 months, have the best thing ever, and nobody can see it, right? That's not what we want to do. We want to have it work in a good way. So if you go and you look up Yoast SEO, you can see that in AI overviews, WordPress.org actually shows up. There it is right there. There's Yoast's website. So WordPress.org shows up above Yoast's own website, right? And here it is here. They've had, what, a bazillion downloads, right? And now we can see, okay, so they made this product. It's a WordPress plugin. It gets people interested in it. They got a little version here. They proved the concept. They made it work. And then there they are here where they have the upgrades and things like that. Understanding that this is the way that online business works is everything. Because if I can go through and say, well, what don't I like about WordPress plugins? Or maybe what's a plugin that doesn't exist? I could look at this and say, okay, well, we got some kind of blocks plugin. You got font plugins, accessibility widgets. That's one of the highest searched for there. Can I go through and use these? Here's one for other WordPress. There's another Yoast. You got all kinds of stuff here. And what we're going to do is we're going to base it on what works. Going through and looking at Contact Form 7. This was a very popular WordPress plugin. It had some free versions and some paid versions. And I know it works because I used to advertise on their site when I started my first WordPress plugin business, which was Widget Control. Sold a ton of those. Why? Because I knew people that use that plugin would want what I have. It's like, I don't know if you remember this, but when I was growing up, going to school, you always wanted to look good and smell nice, right? You're going to high school, you don't want to be the guy who like shows up in sweats and looks like you know, just got out of bed. We always like to present ourselves well, and you get the fancy colognes. But the only problem was back then we couldn't afford the fancy colognes. And we would go to the store and it'd be like, hey, if you like insert expensive cologne here, then you're gonna love cheap cologne. And you buy the one that was cheap because you're like, hey, you know, it says if I like this, I'll like this. Now, while they probably had some rights and issues to do that, but it actually worked, right? They were actually able to sell it. Think about companies like Cliff Notes, right? Cliff Notes was literally like a business built on like studies and stuff, and I don't know what the ethics were. I never even read one. I know all my friends had it, but I was like, yeah, I don't even have time to read the Cliff Notes. I got something else to do. I'll just, you know, not pass that class, which I didn't. But at any rate, they built their entire business based on books that already existed. Disney built their entire business on stories that already existed, yet here you are trying to reinvent the wheel with some new magic vibe-coded idea. Just follow the data, find what works, understand where to put it. Like they knew where to put it. Put it in the CVS or wherever you bought Cliff Notes, or put it in the Barnes and Nobles or whatever it is. Okay, understanding that's key. Like Bezos had the great idea of, hey, what if we start with books, because books are looked up a lot, right? And when you understand that, it literally changes the game, because when I vibe coded this here, that's what this was about. It was about going through and saying, okay, maybe I could go through it, like 12-step workbook. I'm pretty sure that gets some traffic. If we go into our keyword tool over here, we're going to see, okay, yeah, that gets traffic. So can I make something for that? Maybe I could vibe code a tool that tracks sobriety. Okay, maybe I can make it, different or better than the other stuff, right? Or maybe I can make something more robust or something more trackable or whatever it is. And when you start to look at these, like let's say we have Drop the Rock or something like that, I think that's a pretty popular book. Yeah, so that one there. Competition's super easy. Amazon shows up number one because, yeah, that's how Amazon built their business. You could literally do a review on Amazon's page and just, say, hey, this is Marcus from Talk Sober reviewing this thing. You get paid when they buy the thing because Amazon has a rev share program, which is cool. Obviously, look at how that works. It's not like you just make a video and you get paid. They have to buy the thing through your video or whatever, however that works. But going through and understanding, hey, I can pinpoint these things in a different way. Right? And you think about like, how could I get the audience I want to the thing that I'm building in a good way? And just as a side note, Talk Sober is a company that I started with a friend of mine I met in rehab. I'm taking it over fully now. He's doing something else, I think it's like some kind of recovery after going through what we went through in rehab, like how do you restore your life? But full disclosure for this, it's not a super profitable business. We have made some money on it. But the reason it's not super profitable is because I don't want to farm leads to rehabs, because I know what it was like going through that money grab time of like, oh, hey, you need rehab. It's all about money. Luckily, we were able to do the research and find a company that was a good one to go to. I really got lucky there. But at any rate, this business here, even though it's not a super profitable business, if you were to look at the search terms and what the value of the clicks are, we have gotten probably close to $1 million in traffic that we didn't have to pay for just using the strategies I'm teaching you here. Now, full disclosure, I think we've made maybe 50 grand, maybe 100 grand off it. It wasn't about the money. I haven't even dropped my book yet. We're working on getting our book out. But again, looking at how that works, understanding what's going on, understanding where everything fits is key. Like, this is about business. It's about understanding what's out there and what is working, understanding how to go through. Some other things you can do, maybe a desktop app. Maybe you could be the first person who has some kind of desktop app for people who are writing books to use AI or whatever. Mini software as a service. Now, we can go through and we can use Reddit to find real problems, to vibe code what we're doing. Again, a lot of these you see like I'm doing with Clipter and personality prompts, stuff like that. I've made quite a bit with personality prompts. We're actually going through a revamp on that one, building a lot with that as well. I've done a lot with other tools and modified tools and things like that. But when we go through with Reddit, the cool thing about Reddit and other forums is people like to complain. People like to complain even when they don't know what they're complaining about. Like I get people all the time and they're like, Marcus, your support's terrible. Really? Because we've been online on the same place for like 27 years. I mean, it's the same website I had 26 years ago. So, the support's there. But at any rate, people like to complain. And what I do is I look for real complaints that people have, right? What are they? Oh, I can't make my video do this. I remember years ago, we're trying to convert videos back before you could upload giant files, right? And I was like, how do I get my video down to like 10 megabytes rather than like 500? And we bought tools that did that. Now there's different things that you can use that do that. And you can go to Reddit and find out, hey, what are people not like about ChatGPT? What do people not like? What do realtors not like about ChatGPT? Figure that out. Now you have something that you know people want. And going through and vibe coding that, we did an entire vibe coded project for one of our clients who has a Pinterest website. And we were like, okay, here's a whole flow where people can come with their idea and spin it into pins based on real world data, based on things that people say and things that actually work. So going through and Reddit, like, what do people struggle with? Oh, I can't get traffic on Pinterest. If your product solves that problem, they're gonna want that. And of course, you're tying into the Pinterest brand. Obviously, use it ethically and good. You're not gonna be like, hey, don't use Pinterest, use mine. No, you're using something where it's like, this will help you on this, right? Really cool stuff. So you're gonna look for how do I questions. I hate when, is there a tool for this? People sharing different ideas in spreadsheets, templates, different things like that. People confused by a process. Like right now, a lot of people are confused about how do I build a business with AI? That's literally how I have a career, right? Because people are confused. I try to make it simple. I try to make tools that help them. I try to help them understand stuff. And because of that, I'm able to build a really good business, and it works well. People repeating the same problem over and over, paying for bad solutions because there's no simple one. This is huge right now in the age of AI. People are throwing money at AI stuff. Some of it doesn't work. Some of it's pie in the sky. Some of it people got lucky. You need to understand, like, okay, how can I make something that helps people with something simple? Something like this makes a landing page that will help you get opt-ins. Okay, there, let's start there. Let's make it easy. I'm doing that right now. One of our clients, Ben, he has a landing page site we're building for him. It's a full software suite that people can go in. It's based on 50 different types of landing pages that work. You put in your idea and it's like, here you go. Pretty cool stuff. And that's just breaking it up for something simple. People paying for bad solutions. The big clue here is when people are already building stuff together, spreadsheeting, talking, building Notion pages, Google Docs, and things like that, that might be a vibe coded tool opportunity. When you look at Notion, there are people out there that do Notion templates that they make more than I do. They're just doing Notion templates. Crazy stuff out there, understanding, hey, wait a minute, this is about knowing what's actually working. The goal is to understand the problem well enough to build something simple that helps. This is why I like using Manus AI. Manus is pretty much my favorite AI right now. It's great. It'll do bulk research, and it'll do bulk research in a way that helps. Like one of the things I didn't show was when I built this Talk Sober Vibe Coded, it actually went through and put all my Amazon affiliate links. I didn't have to go pull them. It just put them in there. It worked. It knew the string of URLs. It worked well. 2, I was able to go through and have it link to a page on Talk Sober. So like here, if you click this, it doesn't work because I haven't uploaded the pages yet. But when I was done, I had it go through. It knows my stuff. I fed it a bunch of my videos. And I'm like, based on the way I talk, do a little review on each book. Cool. So I did a little AI review. We're going to put those up, watch what ranks. Now I know exactly what to do. And understanding that there are things you can do that will help you get forward and get momentum. Again, when vibe coding, if you're looking to do this for a business, 90% of your time needs to be spent on getting traffic. Like if you don't have that dialed in, don't start building. You'll get wrapped up in it, and AI is going to say, oh, good job, great idea. You're so smart, you're so great. You're going to be so smart and so great and so broke. Because AI is just there to butter you up. You have to build something around what works. And even if you build around what works, there is no guarantee it's going to work. This is all business. It's all about understanding and making things work. How do I go through and say, well, I put a video up, it didn't do that well. Okay, well, can I put it in the WordPress marketplace? Can I run an ad to it? Can I get social media to it? What can I do to make this work? Can I do a press release to it? I've done press releases many times. They work extremely well if you know what you're doing and you do them right. Again, the notes are going to be at vibecodebox.com, as well as over on that site, we actually have the original video from 2022 where I was talking about vibe coding before anyone was really even talking about it. You can go watch that video there. There's 4 hours of other videos. And on Friday, we have a full vibe code workshop that if you're interested in this in any way, I think it's the best thing since sliced bread in terms of vibe coding. We're going to be there. Alina's going to be back. We're going to be telling you everything that we know about vibe coding so that you can get started on the right track. This is about understanding data, seeing where the pieces fit. understanding the simplicity of stuff, understanding that, whatever your hurdle is, AI can help you get through that. Like before Alina started doing stuff with MySQL databases, I didn't do much with them. I knew how to set them up, but I didn't know how they worked. She went through, she learned it with AI and then taught me, and now we're doing it all together. We got, the domain list over here that is all based on a MySQL database. It was actually based on like 5 of them put together. Manus, thank you for the win on that, because I was able to put them together and really look at what I wanted, which is cool. So what we're gonna do is we have to focus and cut out the noise. It's fun to vibe code. It's good. You get in the groove and it feels good, and you're going and you're going and going, and I could stay up till 4 in the morning vibe coding. Doesn't feel good because I'm 46 years old. I shouldn't be staying up to no 4 a.m. anymore. But going through, the biggest enemy of vibe coding isn't lack of ideas and work. It's having too many ideas. It's having too many things. Like for me, I got too many things. I got to go through, I got to isolate and say, I'm going to work on this. AI makes building so fast that you can start 10 projects in a week. And the problem is 10 half-finished projects make 0. And I know, I do this. Luckily, I work at a speed and a pace, and I have a business that works, so I'm able to make the ones that I have make money. That's how I've made 7 figures vibe coding, because I have the platform. I know what I'm doing. I know how to get that audience. Most people don't. Most people going out there, they get an idea, it looks good, they put it up, chirp, 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 tumbleweed, tumbleweed, nothing happens. Once finished, launched, traffic attached projects beats 10 almost done ones. Finished and ugly beats almost done and pretty every single time. And I'll even add to that, finished, ugly, and based on data. Finished, ugly, and not even like fully working based on data will win the perfect, pretty, wonderful thing, right? People say that all the time. They're like, Marcus, your websites are ugly. Okay, I'll make them pretty when pretty makes money, but pretty doesn't make money. Not in the world of websites. This is why vibe coders burn out fast. And if you're in vibe coding, you probably hit this. Like I see people all the time and they're like, I've been working at this 7 months. I'm up to a little bit of money, or maybe no money, or maybe they lost money. And they don't talk about the burnout and the struggle. They start a new project every time AI feels exciting. And there's a new thing every day. Oh, I can make something with Gemini now. I can make something with Manus now. They watch a YouTube video and they pivot. Same thing with making money online, right? They're like, I'm going to start a blog about this. And then some guy talks about making money at the grocery store, and then now they're getting a shopping cart or whatever. And they see someone else's launch and abandon their own. This is about staying the course. I was actually going through with AI, and I kind of pat myself on the back, and Janae even said, hey, that's cool. And AI, unprompted, was like, you're one of the longest running affiliate marketing teachers in the history of the internet. And I was like, wow, really? I mean, I remember Corey Rudel and all them back then. I don't know if they do much now, but that was more internet marketing. As for affiliate marketing, we are one of the longest running affiliate marketing courses out there. Staying the course helped me make money with that. Staying the course helped me build and grow. Had I gone from that idea to a different idea, or tackled something new, might not have worked the way that I thought it should, unless it latched on to what I was already doing. Is vibe coding helping what you already want to do? Is vibe coding going to enhance what you're doing, or is it a sidetrack? Okay, now if you're just out there and you're like, I just want to vibe code to make money, go out there, look at the data and find out, can it enhance what I want to do with something simple? Maybe there's a keyword tool out there and I want to make one better. Maybe there's a domain finder tool and I want to make one better. We want to go through and understand that. They keep adding features instead of shipping. Like, you're going to add features till the end of the end, right? Bill Gates was like, hey, I'm just going to ship DOS with these computers. Windows 3.1 wasn't perfect. Windows ME certainly wasn't perfect. But, they shipped it because they had a business to run. And that's not to say ship something dangerous or stupid or that doesn't work. That's to say, like the Cybertruck. Like, he shipped it, he didn't even finish painting the damn thing, right? He's like, let's just get it out. And, in hindsight, I think there are some flaws to that car, which are like, okay, yeah, maybe that wasn't the greatest idea, but he wanted to ship it because he had a business to run. And again, that's not to say do dangerous things or whatever. build something good and ethical and helpful. Going through and understanding like, okay, it's more important to get something. It's more important to get a report and people download it than it is to try to vibe code the entire world. Like, get something, make a white paper on what you're trying to do, get people to download. That way you have an audience when you're ready to go. You can even make money on that audience with affiliate programs while you're waiting. This is about going through and bootstrapping and getting things that are gonna work based on, oh, this is what people want. This is what people are doing. This is what they're searching for. This is what they're complaining about. A lot of people, they never collect a single email or make a single sale. Just a couple, I think it was last week, we were on a call and one of my students he's having a hard time. And he's like, I'm having a hard time. I got this thing and, we got 600 opt-ins. And I'm like, wait, go back to that. He's like, yeah, we got 600 opt-ins. I'm like, well, that's a win. Why are we not talking about that? Because those 600 opt-ins, you got 600 people to say, I want something. That is the start of where we go and grow. If they say they want something, now I can go through, I can cultivate that, I can talk with them and really understand what's going on. A lot of people, they never collect a single email or make a single sale, and they confuse activity with progress. Progress is what is moving the needle to getting someone closer to buying my product, downloading a tool, getting a report, opting into my list, joining a webinar, whatever it is. These are things where, when I first started my business, we would have books like Guerrilla Marketing. It's like, how do you go out there and market like you're in the jungle and you got to get stuff out there? Not like internet people that are sitting there eating a bag of chips hoping that someone watches their content. No, we're out there making stuff happen so it works. The single project rule is that anytime I work on one main project only, I might have side things in the background, but only one is in the active build seat. Everything else is parked. This means I'm building it this week, I'm testing it this week, I'm writing copy for it this week, I'm attaching traffic to it this week, I'm pushing it towards a launch or a first user. These are in the hot seat, everything else goes in the parking lot. The parking lot is when a new idea hits the middle of a build, I write it down, put it in my Clipter, have it in my tool, my Teams, whatever, and it's a future ideas. It's like the pending list. I don't start it, I don't research it, I don't open 10 tabs about it. I write the idea, the niche, the angle, and proof, clue, in 2 sentences, then I close it and go back to the active project. The rule is ideas live in the parking lot until the active product is shipped, has traffic attached, and has a working money path. Then and only then do I open the parking lot and pick the next one. Close your tabs. If you have 40 tabs open, you don't have a project, you have a research session that never ends. Once you have made the decision on what to build, close the research tab. Now, anyone who knows me knows I'm guilty as charged. I literally crash my computer with just Chrome tabs because I have so many open. Now, in my defense, I have a lot that I'm working on at one time, but even I could probably whittle them down and get to what actually works. You can come back to research later. Right now, you are in build mode. When you go through and you build something, make sure the data's there first, and then when you build like you mean it. Really get in there and think about how can I get something shippable? Not the ideas, because the ideas are a dime a dozen. You can always add, you can always make it better. Like, if you sit there and you're like, okay, I'm gonna build a scooter. I wanna build a scooter that people can, have fun on. And then pretty soon you're like, well, what if we put 4 wheels on it? Oh yeah, cool, okay, well what if we make it a skateboard? Oh yeah, that's better. What if we turn it into a car? Maybe people don't want a skateboard, they want a car. Oh, cool, yeah, let's make it a car. Well, maybe they want to put stuff in the car, let's make it a truck. Pretty soon, you have an airplane that nobody wants and you can't sell, but it's a damn good airplane, just nobody wants it. We want to stick to, hey, let's get that scooter shipped first. I can sell the airplane later when he's tired of the scooter, but first, let's sell that one thing. The no new niche rule during a build. If I'm building a domain report tool, I'm not also exploring a brand new pickleball idea on Reddit. If I'm building a members area, I'm not browsing solar leads on YouTube. New niches and new shiny ideas are the most expensive thing in vibe coding because they cost time and momentum. I recommend that people have a maximum of like 5 sites they're actively working on at a given time. You can have back burner stuff for later, that's all fine and good. Like for me, I got 3,000, 3,500 domain names. Yeah, I'm gonna sell some, I'm gonna use some. I just need to go through and really weed out. That's why we built the domain tool with vibe coding, right? This is all stuff that you can reverse engineer. You can look at what we're doing. You can see exactly what is getting us where, okay? Next, we're going to look at the daily focus block. When we do our best vibe coding, figure out when you do it really good. Like for me, middle of the night is good for vibe coding, like while people are watching TV or whatever. That is the best time. I don't know why. Maybe because there's no other distractions. And TV is boring to me. So this is something that helps. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a focus block with one project, only the active build. If I'm building Clipter, if I get stuck on something, that's why I have a programmer, right? Programmers, if you have a part-time programmer, you could probably get a part-time patch-up programmer for like $100 a week, or pay them as you go. Like I've had those as well. I do a lot of coding, which is why I have people on staff. But if you're going to do as you go, if you get stuck, stop. Like if you don't understand something and you can't figure it out pretty quickly, stop, get help on it, because otherwise it'll just eat up your time. And if you're spending time on programming work that you can get done for $10 an hour or less, you need to figure out what your time is worth. What are you going to do? A lot of people are spending all this time with AI doing work that at best is worth 50 cents an hour. Like now that there's AI, it's not worth anything. That's why, companies are laying people off, because it's like, okay, I can get this done with AI. I don't really need that other stuff. It's a sad state of affairs, but that is where we're headed, and companies are for profit. As much as they say they're for humanity, they are for their shareholders. That's the humanity in their eyes. Kind of a sad state of affairs, but that's where we're at. With your business, you kind of need to be the same way. You can't be sitting around doing things that are $2 an hour. Right? Like I have people who spend 3 weeks making their site blue. Like, why? Who told you to make it blue? Why are you making it blue? Well, I like blue. So you literally just spent all of the time, stopped everything you're doing because you wanted the site blue, and you get fixated on it. And you're like, I have to have it blue. You don't understand. For me, I'm like, okay, go for it, whatever. But we need to make it specific. One screen, no phone, no social, no email, no Slack, no notifications. Obviously have emergency contact, but have it something specific. I remember watching a documentary where Bill Gates has like his Think Week. He goes to a cabin with nothing but Diet Coke. Not sure I'd choose Diet Coke. That's not the best thing for you, but that's what he does. And he goes out there and he comes back with ideas that make bazillions of dollars or whatever. Going through and getting that time where you're focusing. One outcome. Before you sit down, like when I sit down, the other day I sat down and I was like, I'm way behind on these builds I got to make for clients. I got to vibe code these things. And I wanted to get them done. And my wife was like, okay, let's watch TV and you could do it then. And so I had my laptop, which is not ideal because the one in our room only has one screen, which is very difficult. Here we have I think there's 30 different screens in this house. It's kind of overwhelming, but at any rate, on that one screen, I set out to do what I needed to do, and I got 3 of them done in a couple of hours. Something that I had been procrastinating on for weeks, I could get done in a couple of hours if I just sit down and do it. And that's where you look at I decide before I start, what am I going to do? What am I going to have at the end of this sit-down session? For me, one of them was I was doing an add-on to Clipter. I was like, okay, if I can't get this done in 45 minutes, an hour, 5 hours, or whatever it is, I'm going to stop. And know when to stop. Very important. I need to know when to stop and say, hey, Andy, I need you to program this. I need you to fix it. Another one is one short break at the end, not in the middle. Try to push through, obviously within reason. You don't want to stress yourself too much. The 80% finish rule is don't pivot until the current project is at least 80%. 80% means it works on a real URL, not oh, I got something that's inside my Claude. Okay, that's all fine and cool. A lot of people build in Claude and Lovable and stuff like that. I want it actually working on my domain. For me, I want it on a cPanel host, so I have control of it. A real person can use it without me having to explain it all. It has a clear next step, like a lead capture, a sale, a sign up, or a click. It's at least pointed at one traffic source. So I can get traffic from something. At 80%, you can stop and decide if it deserves more work or if it's good enough to leave running and move on. Before 80%, no pivot is allowed. This is when most people quit and lose months of work. Most failed vibe coded is not bad code. It's bad focus. How to select a project that actually works. Again, all of these notes are going to be over at vibecodebox.com. We have the original video over there. It's like an 8-minute video, which is the first video I did on vibe coding back before anyone even was talking about vibe coding. Now you can see everyone's talking about vibe coding, and it kind of goes nuts here on the old YouTube where people love vibe coding. But you can watch that video, you can get a bunch of trainings, and you can see, I think there's a coupon there as well for Friday's call. So if you want to be on Friday's vibe code call, there's a really good coupon there too. So now how we're going to select a project that actually works. How do I go through? How did I know Clipter would work? How did I know personality prompts would work? How do I know my sobriety site will work? How do I know my plugins will work? Well, what we want to do is understand that picking the right project is the highest leverage decision you make. A bad pick can eat 30 days and produce nothing. A good pick can pay for itself in a week. Here's the filter I run every potential project through before I write a single line of code or a single prompt. First, the 7 filter questions. 1, is there proof of demand? 2, is there a money path? 3, can I actually get traffic to it? Right? If I'm trying to vibe code like the mortgage refinance software, yeah, it's going to be tough to get traffic to that. I can do it, but it's going to be tough. It's going to take a lot because there's a lot of competition in that. However, if I do get traffic in that one, that traffic's going to be worth a lot, so there's a trade-off there. But you have to ask yourself, can I get traffic? If you're not an expert at getting traffic, save yourself some time, pick something that's really, really easy to get traffic to. Right? Like those ones we looked at where they had 0 competition. Pick something like that. Don't go for the big one, right? I'm not going to try to compete against ChatGPT. They got like $1 trillion. I don't. I'm going to lose. I need to have something that I can actually get to market, something that's going to work. 4, can I build a usable version 1 in 48 hours or less? This is a big one. A lot of people spend months and months and months making some big vibe coded thing. And even here where people are like, I'm going to vibe code my way to $1 million or whatever they say, a lot of them are actually using the traffic of build in public to actually sell the product. So it's kind of a manufactured thing. It can work, but again, you need to know what you're getting into. You need to know how these things work, right? Like if there's a TV preacher and he said God made him rich, and then the next sentence is give me money because God said so. Well, no, God didn't make that preacher rich. You did. We need to understand these things. It's the same in the guru world. You got to understand basics and understand how money works online, offline, and everything. Because a lot of times people don't understand this stuff, and that's where, there's all kinds of things that they struggle. Like you see people that pitch investment stuff, and it's like, wow, no way in heck would that even work. Yet people get it, and it's kind of sad to see. And that goes with always make stuff ethical. And in the world of AI, I think we're going to see a really, really bad shift in how people use it ethically. I think we're already starting to. But you know what? I'm going to use it ethically, even if it makes me go broke. I don't care. I'm going to keep my ethics about me because that's one thing that I do value. Going through, can I build something usable in 48 hours or less? Is the audience specific? Everyone who wants to make money online or everyone who wants to lose weight is not an audience. Real estate agents who want listing leads in Florida, that's more specific. It's easier to research, easier to sell. Another one, can I explain it in 1 sentence? Another one, do I already have an asset I can leverage? Do I have a domain, a working page, an audience, a video that's doing well? If you score a 6 or 7 yes answers, build it. If it gets 4 or 5, it needs more work. If it gets 3 or fewer, probably back burner it and move on. The list of, let's get rid of this one, okay? You can't find a single example of somebody already paying or searching for the problem, whether it's a book, a software, a guide, a course, something. Someone paying for that problem. If you're like, hey, I am the expert in how to make your jacuzzi warm, and nobody buys a book on how to make your jacuzzi warm because, they know they just flip the switch, then you probably don't want to make a book about how to make your jacuzzi warm. If the audience is everyone, get rid of that. If the money path requires huge volume to make sense, probably not the best thing to do unless you know what you're doing. There are caveats to that one, so I'll put a little asterisk there. If it needs custom authorization, billing, AI database, all of this stuff on day one, then yeah, probably not the best. If you can't describe it in 3 short bullet points, if you can't get people to opt in for it, if you can't make a simple page that says, here's what I got, here's what it's going to do for you, here's where to get it, and you can't get people to opt in on that page, you don't have a winning project, or you have the worst opt-in page in history. And yes, I took that from John Carlton, who had the formula of copywriting. Here's what I got, here's what it'll do for you, here's where to get it. If you can't get people to opt in for it, then you probably shouldn't build it till you figure that out, because that problem is harder than actually building the tool. In this day and age, we have AI and you can build anything you want. You get a programmer, you can pretty much build anything, right? The sky is the limit, which is great, but it's also the problem, because now we're building anything and everything, not should we build anything and everything. The should is the key. So if you can't describe it and put up an opt-in page and get people to actually opt in, and you can't give it away free, then you sure as hell ain't gonna be able to sell it. So test first. Run some ads to it, right? Spend $20. Get people to that opt-in page. Put a button on there. Like, put a button that's like name, email, here's what the thing's gonna cost. And if people fill it out, even if they don't buy the thing, if they fill it out like, hey, yeah, I was halfway through ordering it, you got a winner. If they don't, right, you're not going to. Obviously, make sure that everything's good. Like in that example, you could just say, hey, opt in. We'll let you know when the product's ready. It's going to be $75 or whatever. And we'll send you a link when it's ready. But at least you would get a mailing list, and at least you get people in there. This is about really looking at it. And one of the things people miss, like, here's the thing. The internet tells you what people want, but so do people. Like, if I went out there and I'm like, hey, you know what? I like the real estate market. It's pretty cool. Or I like SEO, right? I could go out there. I could make a video. I can run an ad. I could do whatever. I could drive these people to a page that says, what do you want in an SEO? This would be a perfect SEO tool if. And they're like, oh man, if it wrote my blog post for me, that would be the greatest ever. Okay, good. Now I can make one for these people. This is something we did years ago, actually, before vibe coding. We had a tool called Market Sherlock. And I probably should have sold more of them. We gave it away with another product we had. But Market Sherlock came from the idea, came from the idea of when I was first starting my Simple Sites, Big Profits course back in 2007, which is one of the longest running affiliate marketing courses in history. I'm kind of proud of that. I didn't know that existed, but I'm a little proud of it, all right? So I'll give myself a little pat on the back for that. But at any rate, it doesn't say anything fancy. It's just stay the course. Stay the course, and if you have a winner, it'll win. If you don't stay the course and you have a winner, it'll lose. If you stay the course and you have a loser, it's going to keep losing. We need to look at data and understand this. But at any rate, when I was starting Simple Sites, Big Profits, I wanted to know what people wanted. So I was like, hey, get my free guide on how I build websites and make money. Okay, cool. On the next page, after they put their name and email in, they would go to this page, and it would have a little box, and it said, tell me your number one question about how to make money online. And they would write it out in their words. And what Market Sherlock would do is it would analyze that and say, here's all the common ones people want. And I'd get all the common questions they had, and then I'd make a video, and I'd be like, hey, if you have a question about this, blah, 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 blah. And people would write me and be like, dude, it's like you read my mind. And it felt good for a minute, but I had to be honest with them and say, well, I didn't read your mind. You filled out a form that told me what you wanted. Like Amazon, they don't read your mind, they watch what you hover over. You hover over that shoe too long, pretty soon that shoe is following you throughout your entire life until you buy it. Like that shoe is just gonna be right there. And you're like, oh my God, I gotta buy the shoe. There's a shoe, now the shoe's on sale. Do you think it's on sale by accident, or do you think Amazon watches every damn move we make online? Well, Amazon watches. And with us, we can go through, and in a non-creepy way, we can just ask people questions about what they want. We can use that to build the products that they want. right? One of the things we started doing here is I started attending local entrepreneur meetups and conferences and things. And I was like, hey, this is a great way to learn what people struggle with. Like, I remember years ago, there was a friend of mine, he was a pastor at one of our old churches, and he had stopped being the pastor and he was going to build a software business. And he came to me and he's like, hey, do you have a job? And I'm like, well, what do you want to make? And he's like, well, I want to make like $150 a year. And at the time, I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to. I mean, it's not that you're not worth $150, but my programmer costs a lot less, and he kind of knows more than you because he wasn't churching for the last 20 years. He was programming. But at any rate, he went on to say, well, how could I get people like that would want programming services? And I said, well, what you do is you go to a local meeting where people talk about startups. All these people who have business ideas and don't know how to program, like that's your perfect audience, literally right there. It doesn't cost anything other than gas to go to most of the hangouts, right? Understanding like, okay, online, are there people talking about this stuff? Are there groups that talk about it? Are there forums? Are there things out there that we can use to find people who want stuff to learn? If anything, like I've learned from these, like you don't go to the meeting just to be that annoying sales guy. You go there to listen. Because the people who listen are the ones who are going to be there for a long time. That's what I learned back in 2007 when I had that box on the Market Sherlock that said, hey, what do you want? What do you want to learn? How do you want to understand this stuff? And they would say it in their own words, and I'd actually read it and listen. That's one of the things I like that Gary V says. He's like, hey, you know, like get in there, answer the comments. Get in there, understand what people want. It's a good piece of advice there. Some of his stuff, not so good, but that one was pretty good. So going through, if you're excited, can't explain it. If it depends on a viral moment to work, like if you're like, oh, hey, if this video gets 1 million views, then this thing will work. Yeah, well, good luck with that. Probably going to be harder to get the 1 million views than to just go sell the thing. Or if it depends on you becoming an influencer before it pays. Side-by-side, real project versus trap. Proof of demand here's the question. Existing keyword sites complaints? Yes. Or I feel like people would love this. No, don't do this. Yes, do this. Audience, is it a specific niche I can name? Yes, proceed. No, would be like anyone who uses the internet would like this. Okay, yeah, good luck with that. Good luck reaching anyone who uses the internet, right? Money path. Can you do affiliate marketing, leads, membership, sales? Or is it like maybe someday ads will be there? I'll never forget it. Years ago, I had taught someone to do this business. They went on, they did really well and made great money. And obviously results not typical, implied, or guaranteed. Most people make nothing, but he did really well. And he came to me with this investment. And he's like, hey, you gotta get in on this company on the ground floor. And I was like, well, where's the money gonna come from? He's like, well, they're gonna get ads. And I said, gonna get? I'm not gonna join some company that's gonna get. They better have, right? Not gonna get, maybe, perhaps. No. My money goes where stuff is proven and works. And I remember he like went back and forth. He wanted me in this company so bad. And at the end of the day, he even got like the owner of the company to get a call with me. I'm like, where's the money gonna come from? Well, we'll get ads one day. Well, how many do you have now? Well, 0. Then what are you gonna do with my money? Well, maybe we'll get traffic and get ads. I'm out, right? I'm not gonna do that. You ain't got a solid answer. That was a maybe. And a couple of years later, the FTC ransacked the office because they were just taking the money of the people joining and putting it in their pocket. My friend lost a lot in that. He wouldn't listen to the logic, unfortunately. But you know, looking at everything, there's always a way to see where things go. Pause, stop, right? People who say, oh, this opportunity is only right now. Opportunities are always available. They've been available back in the times when they had pyramids. They're available today. There's 1 million available all the time. Opportunities are completely worthless. They're like ideas, right? Like, oh, you got to get in on this opportunity. I got something for you. Usually they're trying to pitch you something. So there's questions I ask. What's in it for the person pitching me? Like, what's in it for Marcus making these videos? Well, I get like 19 cents in ad revenue, or so. That's a joke. I probably make a little bit more than that. But what it does is it funnels people to my businesses. People that come in and they say, this Marcus guy knows what he's talking about. I think I'd like him to help me vibe code a software. Cool, we got that service. So that's what's in it for me. But I also teach some really good things because I think it helps goodwill in the marketplace and it gets the customers that I want. Ask yourself, what is in it for that person? Why would they do that? You got the webinar, like ClickFunnels. They always have all these people on ClickFunnels and they're like, the value of this webinar is $97,582,000.19. And you're like, is it really worth that? If they sold all this, would someone really pay $19 bazillion? No. Okay, so what's in it for them? What are they trying to get? Everyone's got an angle, and if you try to figure out, okay, what's going on? What happens here? Second, ask yourself, where does the money come from? Like I asked with those ads guys, they couldn't answer. My friend lost because he didn't want that question answered. I did. And I'm doing okay. He's struggling. Tried to help him out years ago, but it just, yeah. Anyway, that's a different story for a different time. Time to version 1. Is it hours or a couple of days? If you're saying, hey, this is a 6-month project, yeah, you probably don't want to do that. Traffic source, do you know your traffic source or are you waiting to go viral? Tech stack, HTML, PHP, MySQL, cPanel, or microservices, Docker, all this other stuff. I don't want complicated, I want easy. Can I explain it in one sentence? Good. If I can't explain it in 3 paragraphs and they're still confused, then we got a problem. If it can't pass the filter, no amount of clever code will save it. What we're looking for is a minimum viable product. Tool MVP. 1 page, no input, 1 input box, 1 result, 1 call to action, no login, no themes, no settings, just paste data, hit button, see output, like a calculator. If we're looking at a members area, 1 login, 1 page of replays, 1 submit a question form, no tiers, no drip, no fancy dashboards, get 1 member in the door and ask what they want next. This is something I actually kicked myself in the foot or the butt or wherever you kick yourself recently where, I started making a bunch of things because I could with vibe coding and I lost focus of other stuff. And we actually had one of our worst months we've had in a long time because I was just spread too thin. I had too many things going on and confused me, confused my workers, confused people and other stuff. And we had to stop and say, hey, while we can build cool stuff, let's keep it simple. Let's get things good. And I think it was a good pivot because now we're looking at really simple stuff. We're going to revive the Simple Sites course again. It's still there. We're just going to bring it into our 20th year anniversary of that one, a new edition with all the AI tools and stuff like that. But pretty cool stuff. It helped me really, really focus. If you're doing a sales page MVP, headline, pain, promise, 3 bullets, 1 offer, 1 link to buy. Actually, I would have like 5 links to buy. Maybe a guarantee, polish it later, test it now. Plugin MVP, 1 feature, 1 setting, 1 activation, drop it in, it works, simple. Something that's very, very basic that people can use. Skip all those big giant options panels, add features only when users ask for them. Get 1 thing out there. Can I make WordPress make a good landing page? That's what ClickFunnels answered, right? And they made like $1 billion or something, okay? Understanding what people want. What did they want? They wanted a simple page builder. I think ClickFunnels is actually way too confusing now. Like I have a rule where if I go to use a new tool and I can't figure it out in 1 day, I don't use it anymore. Why? Because I don't have weeks and months to learn all this crazy stuff. If you're trying to learn everything about WordPress, you don't need it. I don't know everything about WordPress. I know enough to make it do what I want to do. I use Infusionsoft, which is codenamed Confusionsoft, because it's really confusing. There's a ton of different things. But you know what built their membership base? Having a simple thing. Like, hey, I want this thing that we can take orders, we can have different accounts, we can have different things, boom, simple. Then they built other stuff on it, which, it's harder to sell, but going through and looking at that, start simple. A dashboard MVP. 1 purpose, 1 screen, 3 to 5 sections, no multi-user, no permissions, just the data and the actions. Add roles later if needed. Like we did with Clipter, we added different roles later as we got in, like the planner. That was not planned, no pun intended, but that wasn't planned in the beginning. Lead magnet MVP, one PDF or one tool, one opt-in form, one thank you page, one follow-up email. Make it easy, ship it. We need to get this thing shipped. It's like on Mrs. Doubtfire. What do you do after you box them? You ship them. You got to ship the thing. If it ain't going out there, if it ain't getting people, if they're not using it, you just got a nothing. You have a nothing. You need something. What you cut from version 1, user account, Stripe, billing, all this stuff, you can go through and read that later. What you keep is the things that actually work, that actually sell. The 24 to 48 hour rule, if your version 1 cannot exist 1 to 2 days after focused vibe coding, the scope is wrong. You're spending too much time. It's not the idea, it's the scope. Now, I understand not a lot of people know how to vibe code the way that we do here. I've been doing this forever, which would lead a little bit more days for like a learning curve. But like, go through, get a course on vibe coding. Like, we have one coming up Friday if you want to learn from me. If you want something cheap, you can do that. You can probably watch YouTube videos. There's lots of the videos on it. Just some way or another, learn it. Now, if you go through my workshop we have on Friday, I'm going to teach you the way that I know, which is very specific, and we trim all the fat off the stuff we don't need to know, because I'm very focused. A lot of people know I'm friendly, I'm cool, but I'm intense when it comes to certain things. There are certain things that are like, leave Marcus alone, that's what he's doing. Vibe coding is one of them, where I know I need to cut these things and I need to focus on this one thing. And that's what we're going to teach in Friday's course. If you're interested in vibe coding, I would highly, highly recommend it. Over at Vibe Code Box, I think we got a link somewhere here. Vibecodebox.com, there's a coupon there you can use for that class. There's replays, all kinds of tools we're going to give you with it. Really good class. Like, we're just going to go through and show you how I vibe code and how I get an audience and how I come up with ideas and build them. Even if you've never built anything, a lot of you guys are going to build something. This is one of the things I saw early on that was really good, because I was like, hey, wait a minute. My students are actually able to build stuff now. And I was shocked. I thought a lot of people would be just lost and not understand it. But we found that with vibe coding, people were actually able to take stuff to market and get things that were out there. And it was really good to see. Okay? When that happens, don't give up on the project. Cut the features. Keep cutting until you get something you can ship. You can always add features. You cannot get back wasted time adding features that don't really matter. This is important. The question is, would I pay for this? Before you call your MVP done, ask yourself this. If I was a target user, would I get value from this in under 60 seconds? After I log in, would I be like, hey, yeah, this is valuable. I want to keep this. Would I even pay $5 for a bare bones version? Would I opt in and get it free? Would I tell a friend about it? Does it solve an actual problem, or does it look fancy? Does it just look fancy? Does the next step, buy, opt-in, click, affiliate, share, feel obvious? If the answer to any of these is no, fix that thing before adding new features. Here are the common mistakes people make with MVPs. Building features nobody asked for. You're guessing. Ship it. Let real users tell you what to add next. Right? I like going through and people are like, hey, page 10 of your book is kind of stupid. I'm like, okay, I could fix that. But at least I got a book out in their hand that they like. They just don't like page 10. That's cool. Polishing pixels before proof. A good logo doesn't save a bad offer. An ugly tool with traffic and value beats a beautiful tool with neither. Look at ChatGPT. It's actually a pretty terrible looking website. It's literally just like, people complain that my websites look like they're from 1996. That thing looks like it was from like Commodore days, like forever ago. But they got tons of users. They got like 1 billion people using that thing. Number 3, building for scale before any users exist. You don't need a system that handles 10,000 users when you have 0. Use a simple PHP and MySQL. Obviously, make sure it's safe and good and everything's intact and no data leaks. But add complexity when it actually breaks. What I would say on version 3 is use something that already exists. Like for me, I could go out there and I could use ClickFunnels or my Infusionsoft or whatever. I don't, because I want speed. Going through and being able to put a product up right now, like if I came up with a product that I could sell on this training, I could literally have a button and a sales page ready to go by the time we're done, and this is supposed to be done in about 5 minutes. We're gonna go a little over, but I could have that done in 5 minutes. I've actually done that. Having that flexibility is good. Going into ClickFunnels or Infusionsoft or High Level or any of these other things, they're good, they're whiz-bang fancy, but most people To build the page in those, it takes so long. Get an HTML page with a PayPal button, see if people order. If they don't order, then you didn't waste all your time and money. I was talking to someone, we have a video with a friend of mine, and he was talking about how he's been paying for high level or ClickFunnels for 3 years. And I'm like, have you ever made a sale? He's like, no, I didn't do anything yet. I'm like, then why not just start with something simple? The program I use is a vibe coded version that my programmer helps me with that cost me $149. A month? No. One time. And it works. It works good. It's been working since 2009, I think, is when I first started it. There's been upgrades and stuff since then, but it's simple. It works. I've bought 20 different versions of it. I've used it for my customers, everything like that. Other marketers laugh at me. They're like, you use that? Why don't you use something the pros use? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I'm not a pro. Whatever. It works. It gets sales. So I'm good. Again, understanding, get something that you can ship, something that you can get out there, something that's not going to break the bank. And that goes to show how it all works. Because with the tool that I do, I think there's a 10% affiliate. I would get paid a lot more if I told you to get high level and ClickFunnels and all these. But I'm not going to tell you that because I want you to do stuff that'll actually work, move the needle, rather than just piling up debt. Okay, a lot of people say use Shopify. What's the benefit of Shopify? Well, there's really not a huge benefit. You still need traffic anyway. But the gurus tell you to get Shopify because Shopify pays $3,000 to $2,000 for a new customer. That's why they're doing it. We need something that we can get and take to market, lean, mean machine. That's why when I go through, when we build sites for people, it's based on a domain. Okay, here's an asset. It's a domain you can use. It's based on WordPress, which is on web hosting, and it doesn't cost anything other than what web hosting costs. And we're trying to build really lean things that work. That's the problem with business, is a lot of people, I will never forget it. I was coming here to Florida on a business conference, and there was this couple. And it was late at night. It was back when I was drinking. It was 2 a.m, and they just closed the bar. And I was like, bars close at 2 here? Luckily, I'm sober now, so I don't even go to the bar at 2 in the afternoon, unless I'm getting takeout food or something. But at any rate, I was sitting there, and I remember they were in tears because they had spent $150,000 on make money products. They went to gurus. They went to every conference. They went to all this stuff, and they never sold one thing. And I wasn't able to help them because they didn't really want the real logic, right? They wanted the dream. A lot of people want the dream. That is sad. And there are people that will sell the dream. I try to sell you reality, right? This is where reality's at. Can I make something? Can I look at what actually works? Can I understand it's a business and the vast majority of people are going to go nowhere? We need to understand how it works. But I was trying to talk to them about why don't you get something simple that would actually work? And it was difficult. It was very difficult for me to have that conversation because I felt bad. And I was like, how can I help these people that they're not getting it? They don't want to go and build something based on logic. That's what this is about. It's actually a very logical thing. Business is extremely logical. And if you understand, where are the pieces here? Where do the pieces fit in, right? It'll show you, well, these are the pieces that made this work. It's probably a better shot of looking at what worked than trying to invent something new. That's the key here. Hiding the tool till it's ready. A lot of people they're like, Marcus, I'm not going to make my website live yet. And I'm like, well, how am I going to give you feedback on it if it's not live? Well, I don't want people to see it. Do you think people are going to go to having a website doesn't mean people are going to go to it. Most people just don't care. Now, that's not to say have something stupid on it. You just put a coming soon page. Who cares? Put something up there. Make it live out of the get-go. Start driving people to it. That's key. Skipping lead capture. Dude, if you can't get leads, you're struggling. You need to be able to get leads. Leads are the lifeblood of business. Whether they're opt-in leads, whether they're phone leads, whatever it is, this is the lifeblood of everything, and that's what you need before you set up. Trying to compete on features. Your edge is your niche, your angle, your audience. Not feature count. It is not feature count. If I'm building a car, you look at Tesla, he came out with the car. His angle was, we have the best electric car. I was talking to Janae the other day. She's got a Tesla. She's got one that looks nice inside. I never bought a Tesla because I looked at them and I'm like, it looks like a damn cafeteria. I don't know why, like seats look like, you know, you go in and eating at the Carl's Jr. or something. And I didn't like them. It wasn't pretty. It's not really that great looking car. Like the Cybertruck, in my opinion, looks stupid. I would never buy that. It looks like I'm driving some kind of dumpster down the road. However, it sells because he has the angle. They don't have the best features. They probably don't have the most cup holders. They probably don't have the best air conditioner. They're probably not this, that, or the other. Why did it work? Because of the audience and the angle. That's why it worked. Why did Prius not work as well? It was okay. Well, they had different features and benefits and things like that. Their angle was off. They were like, here's our Toyota that was gas, now it's electric. Tesla came out, they're like, we're always electric. That's our angle. That's what it is. You can't get a gas car from Tesla. You got to get that one. And it even worked after he bashed out his own window saying it couldn't be bashed out. So there you go. But at any rate, we're going to look at the iteration loop after MVP. Once the minimum viable product is live, the loop looks like this. Send some traffic to it. Get 100 visitors, 50 visitors, whatever. Pay for them if you have to and you can afford it. Just expect to lose it. Like, you don't know. Nothing. Like I did an ad the other day, tested it out on a new platform. We got like 3 leads. I thought I was going to get like 50. So there you go, right? You learn. Going through and understanding that. Understand that you don't always know everything, right? Sometimes like there's people in the niche that come in and they do better than me in like 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, what did they do? I'm not too proud that I can't learn from data. A lot of people are too proud to learn. I'm like, okay, I don't know much of anything, so I got a lot to learn. Yeah, I do know about this internet stuff though, a little bit, right? Watch what they do, ask the ones who used it what they wanted, and then go through and build, send more traffic, repeat. Try to sell the thing. Your minimum viable product is not the final product, it's the first conversation with the market. Audience building while you vibe code, this is key. We're going to build the tool, build the audience, build the list, all at the same time from day one. This is a strategy that I teach. I go through it through some of the videos here that you can watch on the channel. I go through it in Friday's class and other classes we have as well, where we go through in detail. Because there's some things like, it's very difficult to do live demos of actual stuff, especially in a live setup like this where we have all this stuff. That's why we do it on the other one. And also, you know, those take a lot of work. So yeah, I think it's worth my time there, right? So if you want to get those, you can. Here's where the most vibe coders miss. When you're building the tool, you should also be building the audience that will use it. Like this one here, while I'm writing my book about sobriety, I'm building that audience by reviewing other books. Pretty straightforward, right? These are not 2 separate jobs. They are the same job done at the same time. Every build is a chance to make content. Every prompt is a chance to teach. Every screenshot is a chance to grow your list. Build the tool, build the audience, build the list, all at the same time from day one. Most vibe coders have no audience because they wait till the tool is done to talk about it. They think they have to be polished before they share. They assume nobody cares about a build in progress. They confuse audience with huge following. They forget that a list of 100 real buyers is more valuable than 100,000 random followers. This is the crux of why people struggle online, because they're out there and they think they need to get 1 million viewers. We did a video, I think it was, it's on my website somewhere, but we did a video about how a bunch of influencers with a bunch of followers make nothing. Case in point, the gal who went viral for the dirty joke or whatever it was, struggling, right? In terms of like, hey, the entire world saw that thing almost. You didn't make much money off that, and the money you did make was from some kind of unethical thing, whoever did that, right? Doesn't seem very ethical. But looking at that, like, we need to get a good audience of people we want that want what we have. I don't want vanity numbers of a bunch of followers. I want a core group of people who like and trust what I have to say. Very, very important. Next up, build in public. This is a good way to go. We'll talk more about this on the class. And if you want to build the audience, you could do videos, email list, Pinterest, blog, newsletter, Facebook group, short video. Then what you're going to do is build, ship, share. Go through, build it out, show what you're adding to it, repurpose it, capture leads, repeat with the next build session. The tool is the lead magnet. This is what a lot of people don't realize. When I vibe code something, I can use the tool itself to build the list. If it's a calculator, show the result. Ask for an email, and you can send the full report. If it's a checklist, let them check the items. Ask for an email to save the progress. Database, show up to 10 results. Ask for the email. I do this all the time. You just saw on Got Niches, where we're like, hey, you want a list of the 1,000 high-paying words? Here you go. There they are. Put your name and email. Now, if you want the tool and the training, we have that for sale. And we tested it out on yesterday's webinar. Sold better than a lot of things I've tried. Works really well. A plugin, see if you can give a free version. Domain report, free preview. Members area, maybe you have a free membership trial, okay? Or a cheap one. Maybe, hey, try this out for $7, and if you want to upgrade, you can. This actually works extremely well because it's a lot easier to get something cheap sold than something expensive. And someone going from something cheap to expensive, it's not that hard of a leap. It's a lot harder of a leap to say, you don't know who I am, here's this expensive thing, than it is like, hey, you tried that and you liked it, you'll probably like this other stuff too. Build in public, these are projects that I've done. If you watch videos on this channel, we built Clipter, we did Agent Clip and Rank Clip. We built these in our member site. If you're in AI Profit Scoop Elite, you can get those. We talk about them every week. We're building with clients every week. AI Profit Scoop Elite now has 2 calls each week, which is really cool. Check that out. Another one is Talk Sober. This is one you guys see I do more of a labor of love than a profitable business. But it is actually, I set this up as my retirement. I wanted Talk Sober to be, this is a thing I do in retirement because I like helping people understand what helped me get sober, which is really cool. And that was one I really like. So that's one we build in public. You can see all the stuff here. I mean, the internet leaves trails of everything everyone does. So, you know, you can see all the stuff there as well. But not every audience wants and needs dashboards. Some want presence, honesty, and consistency. Some of them you can't do. Like, I'm not going to AI that one. I'm not going to get an AI clone for this channel. I like to be here. I like to be present. Would it save me a lot of time and make me more money doing an AI clone? It would. I choose not to do it because for me, that's inauthentic. For my friend Julia, she loves doing it that way. You know, now there's differences of opinion and differences in what we decide to do and don't do, but that's to each his own. Some people are cool with it, some aren't. Some people can make a movie with AI actors. Some people think that that's not good. For me, I like watching overpaid actors. I don't know. It's just something I like. But going through personality prompts is another one I built in public. We went through and built this entire thing from the ground up based on the idea of, hey, people are looking to use AI. What if we gave it personality? What if we dissected how people think and baked that into prompts and tools and things like that? Great program. It made a bunch out of the get-go. I haven't promoted it much since then, but I think we've done pretty good on that. I think it was high 5 figures, maybe 6, and I barely did much with it. It was like a 1-month project I need to revisit, which we are revisiting this week as well. But testing the prompts publicly, this is literally how we built it. We went through and we're like, hey, check out this prompt, look at this result, which was cool. The audience helped shape the product. That's what build in public actually means, not just sharing screenshots, but letting people influence the direction. The library is better because real people push back on lazy categories. This is important because a lot of people, they want something perfect, and they think that sharing, hey, I think this is bad or whatever, is a bad thing. Like, feedback is feedback. You could look at it as bad or good, or you could just look at it as data. Like, oh, people didn't like this product. How can I fix it so that they do like it? Or how do I, take those people and say, okay, you don't like it, we'll rectify it. Now let's build it better for the next set of people. It's always about getting better. There's a term in Japanese called kaizen, which is small, tiny improvements over time. How do I improve little? Pretty soon I have something that's great. That's how you get the masterpiece. Rembrandt didn't sit out and paint a masterpiece. He started with one brush with one color and one dot. And that was it, right? When I start painting, if you saw the paintings that I do before I paint them, I mean, they're kind of not the greatest when I'm done. It's a hobby, not a profession. But if you saw it before, I'm not a great drawer. You'd be like, oh, that looks terrible. What's that going to be? It's the starting point is what it is. A lot of people are afraid of the starting point. They don't want to go to the gym when they're overweight. They want to go and be ripped and buff, right? They don't want to go start a business when they're broke. They want to be the king. All right, well, we need to start when we're at where we're at. Start where you're at with what you have. If you have no money, figure out how to bootstrap it. If you have money and you don't have a following, could you buy an audience? Maybe. Figure out what you can do and take like the stigma out of it, because it's not necessarily like, hey, this didn't work, therefore I am a failure. Hey, I just figured out something that didn't work. How do I make it work or abandon it and find something that does work? It's about data, understanding, really looking at everything in a non-emotional way. This is where people get in trouble. They make emotional decisions. Oh, what will it feel like when I'm a bazillionaire? That's when you get in trouble, because then you're like, oh, wow, now I have to have that, rather than understanding, hey, where's the logic? Where does all this go? Very, very important. Going through, this is how I built that one. The other one was AI Profit Scoop. This is one where we have built a lot of the members area with vibe coding. Very cool program. This is one where my goal is to get it to 1,000 monthly paid members, because with 1,000 members, you get a lot of people who show up and we all help each other build stuff, which is cool. And I'm trying to make it the best members area for learning to build businesses with AI. We have the elite members area, the pro version. The basic one, I think we were up to around 750 members or something like that. I haven't really promoted it in a while because I'm focusing more on the pro one. But we were able to build that up pretty good. It was like an intro AI business building kind of class. We had webinars and tools and stuff like that. But going through there, you can see how we built that. And the audience watches and says, okay, I like this, I don't like this. What can we change? I don't think it's worth it, or you should charge more. These are the feedbacks they're going to give you. PC Money Tools, this is one where I had to side burner this one. I like this, but it took a lot of work. So we're side burnering it, and we're going to build some other stuff. This is where we're going through and building we're building desktop applications. I think I have, you could see an example here. This is one of the desktop applications. So it's like an actual program, which I sideburnered it, but I know I'm using it for something else. This is gonna be the build for the new Simple Sites course, which I thought was a match made in heaven. Sometimes you'll start something, leave it be, and later, when it's time for it to like peek its little head back up and be profitable, you'll be like, oh, I remember that thing. Now's the time to do it. But trying to fit it to time I don't have, or an audience I don't have, or something that I'm not ready, it's just gonna burn up time and money. So this is an example. It just goes in and you can have like, this is the task mode, and it all runs on AI, which is really cool. So let's see, I think do I have to drag it over here? How does this work? There we go, gotta drag it like that. So this is what it looks like. It's got full mode, it's got task mode, and it does all kinds of AI stuff, which is great. So I could go through and use all these as like a timer if you want to work. There's prompt libraries, stuff like that, which is really cool. This is something that's a work in progress. Again, I probably won't revisit this until I'm ready to do the new Simple Sites course, because that's where that technology is going to fit in good. Premium domain investment reports. This is one we're doing where I have Manus AI literally combing through tons of domains and tons of data on those domains so that we could start selling them and using them. GroupMind AI, this is a software as a service platform. Again, this is one I'll probably get into later on as well. Affiliate marketing dude, join Marcus and BPN. This is one that we've gone through and we're vibe coding some of the back offices. Now you gotta be careful when vibe coding back offices, because that's about money you've already made and making it better for people, rather than getting new people in. So we need to understand that as well. The pattern across all of the stuff that I do with vibe coding is that what we're doing is we take different niches, different tools, different audiences, same pattern. Show the work, not just the result. Let the audience influences what gets built next. Treat every build session as a content session. Capture an email at every point. Like if I make a little opt-in, hey, check out the rest of this video. Like today, go to vibecodebox.com, get the other 2 videos and the original video from 2022 when I first talked about vibe coding. I think that's really important to watch because it's going to give you a lot of insight into the way that I think, even though it's like a 10-minute video or 8 minutes or whatever. I think it's going to give you a good insight into, oh, this is where he saw the vibe coding opportunity. Here's where it went. Here's where we're at now. This is where the data happened. This is how he made it work, right? Before the tools were all what they are now, I was able to make it work, and understanding that's key, because if I can make it work with those tools back then, those principles will work today. The tools are better today. You can make better stuff today. Capture email, launch into a warm audience, not a cold one. Like, you want to get an audience, go in a Facebook group that people are interested in X. Talk to them about X. Hey, what would you like? Hey, cool, I made this report. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you like. They'll start to know you as the guy who's helping out, much like forum marketing was years ago. Obviously, make sure you're sharing good things. Be ethical upfront. Disclaimer when you're an affiliate. Disclaimer if you have like, oh, hey, this does this. Make sure you say the vast majority. That's why I always say the vast majority of people trying to make money online, even people who go through courses, my courses, they make nothing. Now, the why is, whatever reason. It could be anything. It could be they didn't do anything. Could be they did everything and it just didn't work. There's always these things here. And I find that it actually increases sales when you're honest about that. You're like, hey, this is what's going on. The tool is the asset. Each finished project is fuel for the next. The audience is the multiplier. Doing both at the same time is the unfair advantage. Again, vibecodebox.com. Friday, we're going to have the big kahuna 4-hour workshop. Actually, it's going to be longer than 4 hours. We might split it into 2 sessions. I think we probably will. So, you'll get all that. You'll get the recordings and everything. Types of vibe-coded assets that I build. Simple pages, sales pages, landing pages, opt-ins, calculators, checklists, dashboards, databases, members areas. You want a simple members area? Don't want to pay for it? AI can make that for you. Desktop apps, plugins, WordPress plugins, and more. The big list of projects I've coded, we have all of these dashboards, infographic generator, process dashboard, daily scorecard. All have this list over at vibecodebox.com. I'll put this list for you so you can see them. It's a big list. We've done all kinds of stuff for myself, for my customers, all kinds of stuff. You can see we have vibe coded at JSON storage areas. We vibe coded a plug-in challenge we did over Christmas, all kinds of stuff. You could see all the niche branded clipters that we built. This is literally from my AI that is co-used with my team. It's an entire list of everything we've built. If you want to get that, vibecodebox.com. First, this is how you do it. Pick a market with money in it. Find proof, run the project filter, find the asset type, define the minimum viable product, write the plain English specs, use AI to build the first version. I like to build on cPanel. Put it on real hosting, ergo the cPanel. Test it like a user, attach a traffic plan, make content from the build, improve based on reality. What makes this different than normal AI coding? AI coding is usually make me an app, build me a software as a service, clone this thing, make something cool. Profitable vibe coding is about here's the market, here's the data, here's the problem, here's how I'm going to get traffic, here's how I'm going to make money. Now, here's the smallest tool that connects it all. Here's the audience. I'm not trying to impress programmers. I'm trying to build assets that help people grow an audience, make money, or do what they're going to do. If it's lose weight, that's what I'm after. I don't need to prove it. I remember when I used to be a magician, there was all these magicians that were obsessed with doing magic for other magicians. I'm like, why the hell would you want to do that? They know how it's done. I want to go do magic to people who have no clue, and I look like some wizard. Right? I don't want to go try to impress, you're preaching to the choir, basically. What I want to do is make it better. Can I make it simple, faster, more niche specific, easier to understand? Can I add AI to it? Can I add a checklist? Can I add a calculator? Can I add AI to it? Think about what people did before, Windows put AI in Excel. They made little spreadsheet things with Excel. They made little note takers. They make little tools that work. Can I add saved results? Can I add a report, affiliate offer, lead form? Can I turn it into a class, a guide, or membership? We're not trying to invent a new internet. We're trying to find little broken pieces of the existing internet and make something better. Bulk vibe coding. We talked about this in last week's video. If you did not see it, watch it. That one is a doozy. It's all about how I do bulk vibe coding. Again, we're going to go deeper into this on Friday's class. It's going to be a Zoom webinar. It will be recorded. Everything will be ready for you. All you just show up, and if you can't make it, it'll be recorded. If you have to leave early, it'll be recorded. If whatever, you just want to watch it again, it'll be recorded for you. Vibe coding is not just a cool coding trick. It's a new way to turn research, ideas, and problems and existing demand into assets. The people who win with this are not just the people who know how to prompt. The people who win are the ones who spot where attention already is, spot where the money already flows, spot where people are frustrated, tools are outdated, data is messy. Focus on one project till it ships, cut the features until version 1 is small enough to actually finish, build an audience at the same time as the tool, turn every build into content, leads, and trust. And I will also say, really look at data, understand that business takes work, effort, and the vast majority of people trying to vibe code have never made a dime. Most people will never make a dime. We need to understand what it takes to actually get something good that we can use. Always following the rules. I think there's not enough info that people talk about with the rules. Like, okay, well, we need to be prepared for, like, what about, data that can be seen? We want to make sure everything's locked up and good if that's the case, if we're storing sensitive stuff. That's where I always want to go through and have a programmer in my back pocket, or maybe when you're done, go to Upwork and have someone look it over, or get someone to look it over that knows what they're doing, because we can vibe code cool stuff, but you might not know how it works. We've seen complete databases getting deleted by AI, right? That's why I don't install it on mine. That's why I have yet to get a AI on my computer. And even if I did, I would never put it on a computer that has all my stuff on it. I'm going to put it on one with nothing on it. Keep things separate. This is key. Keep everything separate. Really look at it. So Friday's class, vibecodebox.com. I believe we have, let me take a look over here. I believe we have a coupon there you can use for the class. Make sure you use that before you sign up. This is what the page looks like. Again, this is an example, right? You could go there and put your name and email. That's how I build a list. Is everyone who put their name and email going to buy the class? Of course not. But they're going to go through, and I can learn, and I can sell other stuff, and I can ask them why they didn't buy. Really cool stuff. So Friday is the day. I think we're starting at like 12 or 10 a.m. or something. I think it's 12. I don't know if I have the energy to start at 12 this week, but or at 10 this week. So it'll probably be at 12. But vibecodebox.com. Check out the original video. It's right there on the thank you page. Watch it. It's about how ChatGPT, the first version that was popular, how I used it, which is cool. Why is having AI on your desktop bad? Because AI can do whatever it wants to do, and I'm not ready to let it loose on all the stuff that I have on my computer, including my links and my save stuff. I don't want to do that. It's not ready to do that. Would I do that? Would I go buy a Linux computer and just throw it on that and test it out? Sure. Yeah, something with nothing on it. There you go. But you got to be careful with this stuff. You got to be very careful. We're entering a very dicey area where AI can do some really cool things, but it can also do some really scary things. Always be ethical, always be good, always look at the real stuff, and always build things that help people. That's where you're going to get the sales. That's how I've been in business as long as I have, by listening to people and saying, you know what, I actually care about what I do. I care about my reputation online. I care about what value people get from stuff. I care about when people are like, hey, I don't like that thing. Okay, well, how can we make that right? How can we go through and do that? That's the key to making this work. Vibecodebox.com. Smash the like button. Check out the videos in the description. Go on over there, watch that first video. I think you'll like it. And for those that are joining us Friday, all the info is there, and there's a little coupon after you log in. So use that. We'll see you Friday. Have a good one, and we'll see you in the next video.